real for a team that hasn't really proven anything yet? Like, could we view this as a quote-unquote trap game for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I think so. I think this qualifies as that. I mean, everything we've seen from the Jags up to this point is that they're not a very good football team. They struggle on both sides of the ball. They're very porous against the run game. I mean, we've seen them kind of get chewed up by teams on the ground week in and week out. Offensively, we've seen their struggles. Obviously, the quarterback, he's a good player, but how good is he? And I get that the offense has had struggles with running the football and with receivers catching the football. I mean, that's been very clear. But what's really bad, kind of like last week, is this group's offensive line. They are not very good up front in Jacksonville. Obviously, my Iowa guy, Brandon Scherf, he's there. He's a really good player. I think the left tackle, Cam Robinson, I think he's a solid player. But then after that, this line is not very good. And I think when you go against teams like this, there is a tendency at times to feel comfortable about what you're going into, right? When you go against a bad team, you go into their stadium. I get this is going to be like a Packers home game, but you go into their stadium and you feel, I don't want to say like it's going to be a walk in the park, but you feel more at ease because you know you're going to have a large crowd there. The team's not as good, and sometimes you fall into this mindset, and then you get out there, and the team that you're going against is fighting for their life. Their coaches are fighting for their lives. Their players are fighting for their lives and new contracts. Like, it is a wounded animal type scenario that you're going into. And if you're not on point, they're going to catch you. And then all this team wants to do is drag you into the fourth quarter and make it an anything can happen type game. And that's what you have to be worried about as a good football team like the Packers are going in to a bad team's place, is you got to get this thing over with in the first half. You got to kill the spirit of the Jags in the first half and end this thing early, because if you give them life in the fourth quarter, anything can happen. Then it's literally a one-quarter ball game and anything can happen, and that's not the situation Green Bay wants to be in.
Yeah, John, what do you make of it? Obviously, this is not a very good Jacksonville team, and you're going on the road. Brian just mentioned it, going to be a lot of Packers fans in attendance, going to feel like a home game of sorts, kind of like it did about a month ago at Tennessee, the Titans. This feels like a game the Packers should definitely win.
See, I don't know that we're quite at that stage yet for them to definitely have anybody.
Just three definitely?
No, I think the Jaguars are an inferior opponent to the Packers. True. But I don't think the Packers have accomplished enough to put themselves in this position where I get the trap game thing, but I feel like the Chiefs could have trap games. I don't know that the Packers right now have achieved enough to where they can consider themselves just a walkover on anybody. I think, listen, Brian can tell you this, right? Anybody in the league, if you think that's the first way to get beat and the first way to walk out of it is when you roll. Like, they got to have respect for the opponent and that whole thing I get. But you realize you've seen film, you've seen the records, you've seen them play. They're an inferior opponent. But the Packers, I don't think, are such a standard right now, even at 5-2, even at 9-8 in the playoff victory last year, that they can pronounce themselves that much better than any team that they go up against, that they can do that. So I do think they have to still approach every game very much like, hey, we're kind of the little engine that could. Because there are times I like being the 800-pound gorilla and just walk in and like, dude, this is going to be great. We're going to impose our will on us and go. And I just don't think they're quite there yet. But I do think, to Brian's point, for sure, if you're going to make this a 15-minute game, it needs to be the first 15 minutes for the Packers and not the last 15 minutes. I do think that they have shown, with the exception of how they play against the Cardinals, like, just the NFL is a one-possession game at the end for most of these things, right? Like, I think 75% of games are one possession at the end. So I think that part is, how do you avoid that? That's the trick. But the bigger part is to come out and just make sure that this game really is important. If the Texans game was important to show that, yes, we are who we believed we were all season, that we're going to be a really good team. And then this is to reinforce it by making sure that as a good team, you put away the guys that are inferior to you. If they're a little bit or a lot, like the Cardinals, okay, we're a better team than the Cardinals, take care of them. Titans, not a good team, take care of them. And I think that's where this falls. not a great team. Trevor Lawrence, right? He can play that position a little bit. I think he's a talented guy. I don't know that he's a great quarterback yet. Hopefully that's coming for him. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just to make sure you don't get over your ski tips in terms of who you think you are, because I still think they need to be kind of grimy and still think of themselves as, not yet arrived, and that this is a destination stop, and you don't want the train to blow through this one and screw up.
Yeah, I think you nailed that, John Anderson. Bryan Bulaga, Alex Strouf hanging out with you here on Green Bay Game Day, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN in Madison, 620 WTMJ with you until noon, leading up to kickoff between the Packers and the Jaguars. I'm totally with you, John, right? When you think about the teams they have played and beat handedly this year, you mentioned those teams that are in the same category as these Jags. The Titans, they go on the road and beat with Malik Willis by 16 points. A couple weeks ago against the Cardinals, a big 21 point win over the Cardinals at Lambeau Field. Last week was that signature win they were longing for, because the Texans are a team who are kind of like the Packers of the AFC in a few senses, right? Their quarterback arrives last year. They win a playoff game last year, kind of a team with no expectations a year ago. And they battle it out, winning that game, by the way, the only way possible, I think. Brandon McManus, who was on the team for, what John, 4 days at that point, hitting the game winner. I mean, that was the only way that game last week could have ended, but it was still a signature win, which I think proves to everybody the Packers are who we think they are. They are a real contender. They are a real dog in this fight going forward the remainder of the regular season. Everybody walked away last week feeling that, correct, Blue? You're on the same page as me there?
Yeah, that was a good win last week against a good football team, and you need to have those type of wins against good football teams early on in the year to give yourself confidence as a group of guys that we can go play these top level teams and get wins, right? We saw what happened against Minnesota early on in that game, right? Minnesota put it out of reach early. Yeah, Green Bay fought back, but essentially the damage was done in the first half. It was going to be very hard to get back in that game. So the next true test was going to be Houston, and how do they look against another good football team coming into Lambeau? And obviously the game went as a lot of people expected. It was a close game. It's two playoff type teams.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Green Bay executed better, got the job done, and that, to me, when you beat good teams, is a signature win. Doesn't matter if it's by a field goal, doesn't matter if it's by 14. Beating good teams is hard, and that puts a big stamp of confidence on the team going forward after a win like that.
No doubt. Chris on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat has something for John. He says, I fully agree with John Anderson. We're close, but yet so far from being a complete dominant team. So, John, I flip that to you. What could the Packers show you today to go, oh, boy, yeah, 6-2 is an understatement. This team is shooting for a Super Bowl this year. Is it similar to that Cardinals game, just domination from minute 1 to minute 60?
I don't think there is anything in the NFL you can do in 1 week.
That's fair.
And convince people of something, right? I think you need to sustain yourself over, 2, 3, 4 games. They've done that really well to go, okay, this is where, this is the spot we're in. They've played 3 really good games. I am a little with your point now, okay, where can you get better? First off, let's have the quarterback not get loose with the football. Yep. I think that would elevate them. That would be the next step. For a while, I wanted to make sure we get enough defense. Those signs, all those arrows, as the kids say, were trending up. I like all of that. I like to always have more pass rush. I'm a little Al Davis in me. That's, I would like the quarterback to go down hard. So I'd like to just constantly, if he's not on his back, be around his feet, make his life uncomfortable. So those are the two things right now that I think is where they need to make sure that they improve and could show themselves to be a better category. And as much as I love that Jordan Love has had every game with multiple touchdown passes, I am alarmed that every game he throws a pick. And that maybe there could be more than another one in there, right? There's been a couple where, okay, I'm glad we got that back. But the NFL, as much as we used to love Brett Favre slinging it in there and he could throw 20 picks, I don't think you get away with 20 picks in the league anymore. Not the way the rules are, the way you got to run your offense in terms of the passing game. So I think you got to be careful. So I would like him to be clean. I enjoyed the fact that when he got the ball last minute and a half. Did that on Homer. I said Tuesday, like I had no doubt that he would drive them down and give them a chance to win. I would rather not have to put it that way, right? It's always like that. Like, how can I would like to have Bulaga and the rest of those guys have their pads. Can't take them off, but did you unclip them, right? When you knew the game was over, you untucked your shirt and you unclipped. Like that I want done in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And if you're going to do that, the quarterback can't throw it to the other team. And so that's what I'm looking for. And then again, just the more pass rush we can have. And then I'll go on all the other things is like, please throw it to Christian Watson. And I love McManus because he made the one, but don't miss another one. Oh, those are all the old tripes that I got, that I got to go through. But I think Jordan Love needs to be better. It's great. Shows himself a lot of promise. I don't want to promise. I want kind of the package to get closer to being done. And then, yeah, let's just maul the other guy's quarterback.
Well, this is a perfect example of holding the what was at one point the highest paid quarterback in the NFL accountable. Right? Despite the fact he's second in touchdowns in the league, he is first in interceptions. 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. For only 5 games, that touchdown number is pretty impressive. The interception number, not so much. But at the end of the day, you are still winning games, right? And that's the important part at the end of the day here as the Packers now stand at 5-2 on the year, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars today. At noon, they have won 3 in a row, wins over the Rams, Cardinals, and Texans, looking to make that 4 in a row over the Jags today. Two big things I want to dive into coming up next. With Bryan Bulaga, I want to continue to talk about Jordan Love and how he can improve his play and minimize the mistakes. John Anderson, I don't know if I've heard you talk about the new member, at least kind of unofficial member, of the Packers coaching staff yet this week. So I want to dive into that coming up next as the former Jets head coach, Robert Saleh, has officially joined the Packers as an offensive consultant. We dive into both of those things still ahead. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
There's a clear choice for U.S. Senate. Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure our border, and defend our Wisconsin values.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, because Truck Star Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truck Star Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truck Star is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truck Star Collision Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
The host might be irrelevant, but the conversations aren't.
Seems like they're taking the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl in Cincinnati, is how I view that expression.
Did you just bring up a schoolyard?
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strouf, presented by Door County Distillery.
I was calling the Cleveland Browns poop while also tying in the Cincinnati
recess joke.
I thought I nailed it.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strouf, presented by Door County Distillery. Live on ESPN Madison's YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Black Friday is Cash Friday
At Ho Chunk Game in Madison.
on Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m. 18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion. And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize.
Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day.
And we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth
$25 in rewards play.
Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Week 8 in the NFL season. Packers, Jaguars today. Packers 5-2. Jags 2-5. A noon kickoff Central Time from Jacksonville. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I'm Alex Strouf hanging out with you from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Joined by John Anderson, the ESPN legend, and the Packers legend, former first-round draft pick, Super Bowl champion Bryan Bulaga. Reminder, you can also stream us, watch us live on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, at ESPN Madison. One of us on the panel was kind of a nationwide staple on television for a couple of decades. I'll let you decide who that was when you turn on the YouTube stream. Let's go to John Anderson first, because I just have been dying to hear his opinion on this since the news came out. Earlier this week, fired Jets head coach Robert Saleh was spotted in Green Bay. Head coach Matt LaFleur, who was the best man in Saleh's wedding, by the way, announces, he'll be helping out our offense the remainder of the season. Kind of sounds like an unofficial, official consultant role, the defensive mastermind that is Robert Saleh, joining his best friend, his best man, Matt LaFleur, and the Packers. John Anderson, what say you on this news?
Well, I don't think it's entirely unexpected, right? You just laid out the relationship. My guess is he comes cheap because he's getting paid by the other guys. I love how it was termed. He's been spotted, like somehow they were sneaking him into town or something. Like he's like a 6'5" ball guy. Like you can't miss him. If he was in your local, cousin's sub, or if he was over at Culver's, like you'd know the guy right away. So I don't know that they tried to sneak him into the cover of darkness. I do think it's nice that somebody from the Jets wants to come here instead of the other way around, which is, so many guys decided they needed to get into New York.
Good point.
Listen, good landing spot, good for him. Obviously, like you got to lick some wounds because you get fired, deserved or not. You still, you get fired. So whether it's just or not, you're still at a job, and you can look at yourself like, wow, I did not accomplish what I was hired to do or what I said I was going to do in the press conference. So what do? I'm going to go hang out with my friends. That's a place where maybe I can get some, get stroked, feel good about my guys. I'm going to get some confidence back. And then practically, I don't mind that. I always think it's kind of funny, right? You're turning around like, isn't he a defensive guy? Why is he working the offense?
Right.
I like a guy that can do that, can look at that and go, dude, I would tear you up from this spot, right? He's still very much a defensive guy. He just, he's going to help the offense in ways that, like, look out for this. So it's, it's kind of a flip there. But I don't think it can do anything but help because of his relationship with Matt. So he's not going to challenge him. He's not in there like, okay, now you've hired your replacement because Matt's on firm ground and all that. And I think because of that, it doesn't become one of these things. There's too many voices. Sometimes, like the big thing in college now is you got to have this analyst and this analyst and this analyst because of however they structure it. You can only have so many coaches, but you can have 50 analysts. So if he's in a little of that role, that's great. As long as, it's not 30 guys. It's a guy that's in line with LaFleur, so he's not going to step out of bounds. It's not going to be some voice. It's not going to be a different voice. It'll be a different voice for Matt to hear, but it's not going to be a different voice for the team to hear, which I think is a significant distinction to make when he comes through. And hopefully he spies a thing or two and says to Jordan Love, "Hey, don't see when there's 3 guys around him. How about we find another guy? How about we pick out somebody else that doesn't have all those dudes around him? Somebody that can get in his ear and say, listen, dude, I get it. You can, what is it? You can throw it through the car wash without the ball getting wet. But that doesn't matter if there's a bunch of guys around him. So I think it's a good presence. I think it's probably good for Matt too, right? You feel good about your boys and hopefully it pays off and the offense becomes a bit more efficient because they've got a set of eyes that is really good with defensive knowledge.
Yeah, I think the other important thing to highlight, which you did a good job of there, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga, Alex Strouf hanging out with you here on Green Bay Game Day, is the relationships. Aside from LaFleur, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco when Adam Stenavich, the offensive coordinator, was on the offensive staff, and Jeff Hafley was the D-backs coach. So I don't think there's a lot of feeling of stepping on toes by bringing Robert Saleh in the building because your 3 big dogs in LaFleur, Hafley, and Stenavich all have relationships with him and have worked with him in the past. So I think that's obviously what makes this a natural fit for Robert Saleh.
Yeah, and I was going to add, and by designating him as he's going to help with the offense, right? Now you don't threaten Hafley and what he's got going on over there. You're not like, oh, here, I'm bringing in somebody to challenge. I'm bringing in somebody that I don't think you're doing better defensively, so I've got this guy.
Right.
By coming in and saying, hey, he's going to help with our offense, hopefully you eliminate this whole kind of, oh, are we unhappy with Hafley? Do we need more stuff for Hafley? Is the defense, in trouble? You avoid all of that stuff, hopefully. And I think LaFleur's got that under control. But I think that designation, while it seems maybe a small thing, is really important to keep everybody's ducks in a row and not feel like anybody's being challenged or threatened.
Yeah, coming off a game where you hold the opposing quarterback to 86 passing yards, you certainly don't want to get up in Hafley's business. Bulaga, your reaction to this news? This is a unique one, but as John said, not entirely unexpected.
No, it's not crazy, and I think it's a great move. I think it's really good. I mean, obviously, John said a lot of it. I mean, bringing in Saleh to work with the offense, giving LaFleur and Stenavich kind of a different point of view of a lot of these new defenses now are what the Packers run, what the Jets run, what the 49ers run. You're seeing this scheme pop up quite a bit in different places as these coaches continue to spread out and get jobs, just like the Shanahan tree and all that. So it's a good voice to hear coming from a defensive mind, telling LaFleur instead of like, hey, attack a defense here, or if they're running this coverage, show this. There's a lot of things that they can go into to help out. But I still do believe that he's going to help Hafley out. I still believe, I don't think there's any way he doesn't. Yeah, I don't think there's any way he doesn't. At the end of the day, Saleh ran this defense beautifully everywhere he's gone, right? This scheme, he's done it really well in every spot he's been in. And I think he's great to bring in because, as we've seen, and John mentioned in the first segment, we're having issues with rushing the passer with our down 4. So that means different looks need to be shown to create pressure with 4 and still drop back into coverage efficiently. And I think Saleh, knowing this defense, knowing how to show different looks and to get things effectively moving forward, rushing the passer with maybe just not the front 4, but other positions, kind of like we saw against Houston, is a great thing to have because he's able to know the ins and outs of this defense. It's not like he's having to guess what coverages are. Saleh knows all this, and he's going to be able to help out building pressure packages that teams haven't seen yet from Green Bay or the Jets, potentially, that can aid in the Packers getting home with 4. So, like, while it is great for LaFleur, I also think it's really good for Hafley because I don't think there's any threat that, like, Salah's coming in and he's going to take his job. Like, I think Salah's going to get his own gig next year. Like, he's going to, whether that's defensive coordinator or head coach, I think he's going to get another shot because I think he's a good football coach. I just think it's really good to have a guy like that on staff that has experience, that has played in big games, has coached in big games. He understands kind of where Green Bay's at as a team and where they're trying to go. And to have as many good voices in the building that you can have is a positive. And it shows a lot about kind of what LaFleur sees, right? Like, he sees this is a team that can go far. And if I can bring in good people to help us get to where we need to go, like, I'm going to bring as many in as I can. It doesn't, hey, if someone else gets fired in the middle of the year and they're a really good defensive, offensive mind, or special team mind, bring them in to be a analyst or whatever you call it. Like, you can never have too many good voices. And like what John said, as long as he's not the voice that's stepping over LaFleur halfway to the players, then this is a great situation for Green Bay.
Best case scenario, BCS. I love this ad. I view this as having little to no downside by bringing in what we have all described as a really sharp football mind, defensive mind specifically. And obviously there's a lot of comfortability there. So hopefully Robert Saleh can win a Super Bowl ring as a consultant and then land back on his feet next year, as John pointed out, maybe as a DC or as a head coach. But yeah, you guys are totally right. He'll get another shot. But in the meantime, come help us out because this is a team at 5-2 who's in really good shape in the NFC, and the Vikings fall on Thursday Night Football. A win today can have the Packers leapfrog the Vikings for second place in the NFC North, and they've got a big showdown with the Lions next week. Maybe I'm falling into the trap game. I'm already looking ahead a little bit, John. You got to call me down, man. You got to hold me accountable.
I put down on some notes I jotted down, and the first thing was, don't go to the Packers can't look for the Lions game on Thursday. And the thing is, right, because it's a quick one. That's a Thursday nighter, and so life comes at you fast. So I don't know, Brian, do you do? Luckily, it's a division opponent, but college does that all the time. You play some guy here, and you're like, you know what? We're going to take Thursday, and we can work on this. We're going to play them, the next team down the line. I don't think you can do that in the NFL. But yeah, that game's there. But hopefully, that takes a lot of shine off that thing. If you want to walk out of Jacksonville with an L, then Thursday has all kinds of different implications that you don't want it to have right away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stay in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment. We're here for this one. The Thursday game is scheduled for Thursday.
Well, real quick,
quick.
You're flip-flopping the Detroit games. They do get a full week this week. This one's on Sunday. The one later in the year is the Thursday game.
That's right. Sorry. I thought they were both on Thursday. But that's incorrect. You still can't get to both of them.
You get a full week of prep.
Get ahead of yourself.
Well, I might. I would prefer if the Packers don't, but I might, John.
Same thing. Fans can do that, right? Fans worry about this week. Coaches worry about the season. GMs worry about all 3 years, and presidents worry about 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm worried about today. Win today, and if you lose, I'm firing everybody.
But to your point, John, right? Like, this schedule really kicks up a notch after this week. You've got the lowly Jags today, but then, as you mentioned, you get the Lions. Then you've got your bye week. But then you go to the Bears, host the Niners, host the Dolphins, who should have Tua back by that point. Go to the Lions that Thursday night, December 5th, and then you go to Seattle that following week. So this schedule totally takes a rip to the next step. 5 of your next 6 opponents are in the NFC. So this thing gets really, really fun after this week against the Jaguars. But hey, you got to get that win first. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga hanging out with you here on Green Bay Game Day, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Rob Domofsky, bold, bald, and beautiful. He's hanging out in Jacksonville, getting a little head tan down there. A high of 85 in Jacksonville today. We will check in with ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Domofsky coming up next right here on Green Bay Game Day.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Another MVP has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Dr. Ryan Stefanchek. Board certified in sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation, Dr. Stefanchek specializes in non-operative treatment of the spine, chronic pain, all joints, all musculoskeletal problems, and more, emphasizing holistic care first, with a focus on diet, sleep, stress management, and social connections for a patient's well-being. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit condonjeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
The NFC North, you got Jared, Sam, Jordan, and Williams.
But
that's
you see
pretty good
that does sound stupid. Love, Goff, and Darnold are unique names. Williams is a very generic name.
Almost as generic as Brown. I totally understand.
And I mean, like, my first name is pretty generic, as my last name is not quite as generic. Matt Hamilton sounds like like an avatar.
Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
So what's better than a Packers win? Celebrating a Packers win behind the wheel of a newly redesigned 2024 Chevy Traverse C71. Yeah, that's better. And right now at Quick Trip, for every $1 you spend with Quick Rewards, you'll earn a Fan Zone point to spend in the Packers Zone. Then with your Quick Rewards app, spend points for your chance to win prizes throughout the season, like a Chevy Traverse C71. Kick off your winning season with Quick Trip and your Green Bay Packers. See quicktrip.com/fanzone for details.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. Kick off your tailgate with Bacardi. Whether it's a Bacardi and cola, lime and soda, or spiced in cola, Bacardi is your game day go-to. Grab a bottle at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Run 40% alcohol by volume. It is Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga, hanging out with you. Excited to be joined now by Rob Demovsky from Jacksonville. Demovsky, of course, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Packers. Weather's got to be all right down there, Rob, eh?
Yesterday on the golf course, and it'll be fantastic today in the stadium.
Yesterday on the golf course. God, you have such a tough life, man. You really live a tough life.
I just dropped that in for Bulaga.
Where'd you play?
Ponte Vedra Inn and Club, Ocean Course. Fantastic.
Brad Nortman just stayed there when he was down there a couple weeks ago. Are you going to tip your innkeeper? Because I learned Brad Nortman stayed at the Ponte Vedra or whatever it's called and did not tip his innkeeper.
So I'm not staying there, but I'm loyal to a certain hotel chain that rhymes with Chariot. But I typically don't. I don't think I tip at your Garden Variety, Westin, Marriott, Sheraton. I probably should though. That's probably bad form.
Yeah, that's something you should get better at. But hey, we're all just trying to get 1% better every day. All right, let's start with the big news of the week, Rob. Robert Saleh has joined the Packers as a consultant to the offense. It sounds like. We were discussing it before. Not the most shocking of moves, but still very unique that a fired head coach joins another staff during the season. What do you make of it?
It is. Didn't Josh McDaniels go back to New England in midseason after
I think he
got
did, yeah.
fired by the Raiders? So not totally unprecedented. The other thing, Alex, is that the Packers LaFleur did this before in 2022, I believe, when he brought, it wasn't a head coach, but Aubrey Pleasant was, I think he was the D coordinator or passing game coordinator in Detroit, got fired in November, and finished the season with the Packers in exactly this role as a defensive coach working with the offense. So now, granted, Aubrey Pleasant's name isn't as recognizable as Robert Saleh, but it's an interesting way to do it. The thing that I actually don't know and has not been asked, and maybe will be answered today just by visual, is if Robert Saleh's here today. I don't know that he is. I don't know that he's with the team on game day. It's a consulting role. He left. He was not in Green Bay on Friday. He spent Monday through Thursday with the team. So I don't know if he's got any game day duties or not, but I think that's one thing I'm at least keeping my eye out for today.
Well, he's got a lot of kids. He's got to get back home for the weekend, spend some family time, right? It's one of the advantages of being fired. You get a great compensation package. And you can take weekends off for the first time. Like, when was the last time that guy had a Sunday off, you think? Like, you think he's working? Like, his wife's like, no way. You get to stay home for about 3 of them before that happens.
Somebody's probably got a soccer game or a volleyball game or a fall basketball league game or something. Yeah.
So he's there for 4 days. What do you think is the most glaring thing he would have found in the Packer offense? He's like, here's where you should shore things up.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is probably some sort of protection things, pass blocking, maybe even some run schemes. But, like, I mean, I don't think 4 days is like, he probably honestly just did a lot of observation and maybe put some thoughts together. I think this is more of a long-term, big project thing, not necessarily like, we're going to see they're going to all of a sudden run some zone schemes or something this week. I don't think it's anything that dramatic, John, but I do think it could, it could pay dividends with a small little tiny wrinkle, here and there. The other thing is, coming from an AFC perspective, he's faced these types of, although this is the last of the AFC games, right, this year, so maybe not. But, I mean, you see teams differently. You see different teams than the Packers see. So there could be some help in that regard just down the road. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have another set of eyes in there.
Yeah, so, Rob, Strouf talked about it before. It's a nice day down there in Florida. Has there been any talk about the heat? Have the team talked about how this could impact them? I mean, I'm also in Florida. I stepped outside this morning. It was a nice, cool morning. Nothing too crazy. I don't know what it'll be. Yeah. I don't know what it'll be like at 1 o'clock, but have they been prepping for it? Are they ready for it?
Well, I mean, you think about it. So, first of all, about the Florida thing, you're right. The guy I played golf with, he was wearing a pullover, long sleeve pullover yesterday, and I'm sweating in a golf shirt. But look, we have been in warm weather, unusually warm weather. Wasn't last week's game or one of the home games was like the warmest October game. That they were one of the warmest at Lambeau in a long, long time. And I mean, you had the game where Josh Myers puking on the ball. It was really hot then. They've actually been in some warm weather stuff. It really has not, been a topic with the players in terms of discussing it with us. But I guarantee you the nutrition staff and the training staff is on top of it. But right now, I left the hotel this morning and walked over to the stadium. It was not super warm. Now the sun is blaring on the stadium right now, and if I remember right from last time I was here, the visiting sideline gets the direct sunlight, which of course is smart.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. This team has been in some of these warm weather games, already this year.
Rob Demovsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter with us here on Green Bay Game Day. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Well, the last time he was there. The last time I was here,
the Saints?
The Saints in 2021, but then the Jaguars would have been, what would that have been, 2018, I think was the last
16.
Jaguars game.
I think it was 16.
Is that what it was? 16?
I think it was 16, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember staying at the Marriott Sawgrass. Oh, I said that name again, didn't I? Marriott.
Rhymes with
you don't get
Terry.
extra points for saying it.
I'll tell you this: there was a direct flight from Green Bay, and they were doing. It was all Packers fans and me, and they were doing Packers trivia for extra frequent flyer miles. So I was trying to answer some of the questions on the plane.
That's not a bad way. That's not a bad way to earn some extra miles.
Right,
why not?
Right.
Well, why not? Hey, have you did you hear anything later on in the week about if they're going to continue to kind of split this right guard snap position or right guard snap count, very similar to what they did against Houston, or is Sean Ryan really taking this spot over based on last week's rep count? I mean, that's what it appears.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brian, because if you looked, I don't think that they rotated in the second half. Maybe one series early in the second half. But yeah, it was. I mean, look, they want to bring Jordan Morgan along, so I would suspect they will get him a few series. But I think we're heading toward a more of a 80-20 than a 60-40, 50-50 rotation here. But you still have to get Jordan Morgan some work. I mean, this is your first round pick. He missed a lot of time throughout the late summer and early season. They need to figure out where his best position is. Is it guard, or long term could he slide out there and play left tackle? So, but you're right. That's a great observation because it definitely changed in the second half last week, and it was Sean Ryan's show pretty much for the rest of the way.
Hanging out with Rob Demovsky here on Green Bay Game Day. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, I got a question about that too, Rob. I mean, at least in your experience, I mean, I was a first round pick. They weren't, in my time there, they weren't looking to get me on the field for Cliffy or for Tausch. I mean, I went in because of injury. I mean, is this injury? I mean, I guess my question would be like, I guess when is the idea changed that we have to get a first round pick in the game if he's not performing up to the guy that's currently in there? Like, I'm not saying that Jordan Morgan can't be a hell of a player at some point, but like, if we're looking at it right now, right, like, we want the guys in there that are performing at the highest level, regardless of if you're a first round pick or not.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's necessarily a first round pick, or as much as it is an offensive line thing, because remember they did this last year with John Runyon and Sean Ryan at right guard. So, like, to me, it's more, and I think it's just, I mean, it's a different philosophy with this coaching staff than maybe we've seen before. And Matt LaFleur's even been asked about that a few times, and he said, I've been at places that we've done this before, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I've only been at one place, and that's Green Bay, and I've never really seen it before they got here. So maybe this is just something that he picked up somewhere along the way and believes in it, on the offensive line.
Just keep Jordan Love upright. Yeah, that's all I ask.
Yeah, well, like, which is so weird, right? Like, because my first experience with obviously Matt LaFleur and Steno and Butkus and these guys that are still there was no such thing as a rotation year one with him. Like, there was, Lane Taylor got hurt, Elton moved in, and it was done. Like, there was no other movement, and that was it. So, like, it's just maybe because they don't feel like they have, like, they're still trying to figure out their best five, but, like, you gotta figure out your best five in summer. Like, that's when you figure it out.
And last year's situation was they knew they weren't re-signing John Runyon. Like, they knew that. They were, I'm sure Goody told them, hey, we're not going to be able to keep him. So if you want to start getting somebody, some work ahead of time, then go ahead and do it. it's circumstantial, but and the thing is too, like they're doing this on defense a little bit too, where like I feel like most of my time around this team, that when they went from base to nickel, it was the same DB went in for the same, linebacker or D lineman, and that was it. Well, now you've got full packages of different guys playing in base and coming off the field, and other guys coming on in nickel and dime. So I think it's just maybe it's evolved a little bit more too, and trying to get trying to take some of the wear off some guy's body when possible. If you have players that you think are comparable and it's not a significant drop off or any drop off at all.
The injury report is really short, Rob, and it is week 8 of the NFL season. I'm knocking on wood. Don't worry, John. I'm not going to jinx anything here, but I'm really intrigued by the fact that there's really only 4 guys in the injury report. Josh Myers, Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker, all expected to play today, and Corey Ballantyne is doubtful, and he hasn't played a ton defensively anyway. He's been more of a special teams guy. Does this have something to do with the new strength and conditioning staff? Is this just luck? What do you chalk this up to through 7 weeks?
I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of the strength and conditioning thing, and I mean, look, they stretch more than the obvious thing that we see is the stretch period's different and more elaborate, but I think a lot of it is luck. The one thing too, I mean, they are missing 2 guys that would be players in Marshawn Lloyd and Luke Musgrave, who both are on IR. I mean, those guys would definitely be playing, or at least the plan was for Marshawn Lloyd to be playing. He missed so much time that maybe it's unrealistic at this point. But so they do have a couple guys that they're down. But yeah, for on the whole, it's been remarkable. They've been fortunate. But you know what? We saw it in 2010 that you don't always need to be healthy to win a Super Bowl, because that team had what, Brian, 15 guys on IR by the time you guys got to the Super Bowl.
Yep, a ton of them. I mean, a ton of them.
Yeah.
I'm always until you've been in a locker room. So Rob, you know this, Brian, you know this. Like, what is healthy to an NFL player is not healthy to the average American. I can remember when I was in Phoenix on the bye week, I always go, show me where it hurts. And I can remember Eric Hill coming through, the great linebacker, with a neck brace and a walking boot, and he was like probable. I'm like, I don't even want to know what doubtful looks like. That's what probable looks like.
Well,
or John, you just go, hey, it's week 8, show me what hurts.
Yeah, it's a great point, John.
You're alarmed.
Like Devontae Wyatt's coming back this week, right? And I still saying he was limping on that ankle. Like, I mean, he was hobbling around a little bit, and he's probably going to play, this week. And Christian Watson had the ankle, and what a remarkably quick turnaround. What, he missed 1 game with a high ankle sprain, which is remarkable. So, I think they've had some good fortune too.
All right, Rob, as we always wrap it up with you, how do you see this one playing out? No, go ahead, Brian.
I don't want to.
Go ahead, Rob. Sorry. I was just about to say, like, there's no such thing as healthy after week 3.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's healthy. Like you could say, like, they're not missing any games, but that doesn't mean they're healthy.
They're playing. Everybody's playing for the most part. Right.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, prediction time.
Look, I'm glad you guys didn't bring up the whole, like, trap game thing, because I just don't believe in that. Like, I just don't think when you only play 17 of these, this isn't like the NBA where, 2 nights from now you have the Celtics, but tonight you've got, somebody who's bad in the NBA. I don't know, Orlando maybe. It's not like it's not like you got Utah and then you're going to play the Western Conference champs the next night. And I just don't see that in the NFL. If they lose the game, it's not because of that. But I don't think they have a whole lot of trouble with this. And I think this is, what would this be? If they get this one, would this be 3 in a row?
4 in a row.
4 in a row, yeah. So, I mean, like, that's a real streak in the NFL. And I think I'd be surprised if this winning streak didn't continue.
Well, good news is Rob didn't listen to our first segment of the show today, which was entirely around the idea of a trap game. So thanks for not listening, Rob, and we appreciate the time.
Some of us poo-pooed that.
Yeah, we all kind of did, but nonetheless, I did have to bring it up. Rob, appreciate the time as always. Right. Safe travels. We'll be listening to you.
All right, we'll see you guys.
The great Rob Domofsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter, live from Jacksonville. Going to get that head a good tan today. 85 at kickoff down in Jacksonville. Want to highlight some of the struggles Jordan Love's been having, if you even consider them struggles, as he leads the league in interception. Also second in touchdowns. We will dive into that. Coming up next as we wrap up the 9 o'clock hour of Green Bay Game Day, leading you up to kickoff between the Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
There's a clear choice for U.S. Senate. Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure our border, and defend our Wisconsin values.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Big players show up in big games.
Touchdown!
Donald Driver and Cousins Subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery this Saturday through Sunday on any order of $30 or more.
Touchdown!
Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Prairie Athletic Club is celebrating their anniversary with huge savings. Join the pack now and save $20 per month for your entire first year. And get 3 months of hot yoga free. That's over $300 in savings while you get fit, feel fantastic, and experience all that the pack has to offer. With personalized training, state-of-the-art equipment, and endless classes to choose from, this is the deal you've been waiting for. Don't wait. This anniversary offer won't last. Visit Prairie Athletic Club today or check them out online at prairieathletic.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Packers Jaguars week 8 in the NFL. Packers 5-2, looking to make it 4 in a row with a win today down in Jacksonville. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. Distilled 6 times till it's just right. Tito's is known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. Alex Strouf, ESPN legend John Anderson, Packers legend Bryan Bulaga hanging out with you here on Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Jordan Love, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 5 games played. But the important part, Bryan Bulaga, is they are winning games. As you evaluate the quarterback Jordan Love, he's taking more risks than I think we were used to seeing, especially in the second half of last season. But again, I highlight, they are winning games. Brian, what do you make of Jordan Love's play through the first 7 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I am all for, I got to play with probably one of the best in NFL history of taking care of the football. So like I'm very aware of, like, as a player, what it feels like when you know your quarterback isn't going to make those mistakes. He's going to protect, not just the offensive guys, but the defensive guys, not giving them short fields and things like that. So, like, I understand, like, the responsibility that those quarterbacks take on week in and week out, and their role, not just, running an offense, but how it translates to what the defense has to face, special teams, all that. So, like, I get what it's supposed to look like. My only thing is that while he is making some mistakes, you can't take away that he is so damn productive on the flip side, right? Like throwing touchdowns, efficiently moving the field up and down, or the team up and down the field, and everything else he does within the offense, checking the guys in and out of plays, changing protection. Like, he does so much that I think the interceptions, at least right now, I can look past, right? Like, it's not something that, you want to see. You would rather see him clean that up and, get it down to 1 and 0, like as close to 0 as you possibly can. But I think he's gonna work through this, and I think he's gonna be okay when he comes out on the other side of it. I mean, we do have to remember he missed some time. He was injured, and he's still recovering. I mean, no matter what you say, he's still actively recovering from this knee injury and getting comfortable on it and moving around. I mean, this against Houston was the first week we really saw him moving in a positive way, like moving around the pocket, getting out of the pocket, scrambling, looking really comfortable on it. So I'm not that worried about it. I think he's going to clean it up, and as the season goes on, that number is going to shrink. And listen, mistakes are going to happen no matter what, right? Like whether it's Jordan Love, whether it's Pat Mahomes, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, like mistakes happen. It's just, I think what everyone wants to see, not just from a fan standpoint, but also a coach, is that the same mistakes don't continue to repeat themselves, right? Like you're under duress and you just throw it into triple coverage. Like that's the stuff that, as a coach and as, especially for me watching, like, hey, let's not make that mistake again. Like if we're going to throw a pick, it's a bang play, a DB makes a great play, and that's what happens. And I think he will. I think he's learning as he's going through this season, and I think he's going to be good. I'm really not that worried about it.
Yeah, John, this is not David Whitehurst. This is not Randy Wright, right? This is Jordan Love. I imagine you're probably not. Well, I just want to throw out the guys that maybe you had to suffer through. This is clearly not that, despite leading the league in interceptions through 7 weeks.
I don't think it's that, no. I think one of those, we always talk about you have to learn from your mistakes. Well, in that case, you imply that you have to make some mistakes. And so while I want him to take care of the ball, and while I would like him to be a clean operator, I do think that you don't want to coach him into being check down Charlie, right? Where like, there's guys, and they might be, great that he swung it out to the back. And so I think sometimes in this case, he's made some throws, made some decisions that he thinks he can pull off in the NFL. And he has found out maybe he can't pull them off in the NFL. So, like, I think you need a certain amount of that so that you learn the game and know your limits of your ability, maybe the limits of your receivers, the limits of your offense, what other NFL defenses can do. So, yeah, I think you have to be willing to live with a certain amount of that while you learn and go through the growth. I think it's coming. Like I said, I like it to be clean. It is amazing that we do have to compare it because Aaron Rodgers was so far and away in NFL history, for the guy that many throws, the least interception. Like nobody is better at that, at least until he gets 40, and then all kinds of things change in life. But he was so the opposite of that, and then he came on the heels of Favre, right? Like there's been nobody like that ever. And so like if that's the standard, that's really hard. There's nobody's going to do that, especially as often they throw. But I think that's the biggest part. It's just like I think he's going out and sometimes just learning his limits of what it is, and I'm willing to take some of that, as I said, as opposed to just another. Oh, yep, there's a swing pass to the back. Oh, he took his check down every single time, and so there are mistakes. Hopefully that you learn faster than slower. But I do think I've used this analogy before a lot, maybe not here, but everywhere. It's a little like driving a car, man. You get your license at 16, but until you're about 25, you haven't seen everything you need to see on a road. And I think, he needs to drive on some gravel roads, got to drive in some snow. He's got to see what happens when the tractor trailer scissors in front of him. And so some of that we just going to have to live with. And that he can do that, as Brian points out, and still win football games and still not lose his confidence and still throw 3 touchdown passes or still drive the team in the last 2 minutes, that I think that separates him from some of the other aforementioned names that you had. And even though you left out guys like Carlos Brown and when Blair Keel was here, and heck, even when, it's just
John Hadel, I think I left out.
I'm receding into a dark place now. John Hadel, that was 2 2s, 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 3 for John Hadel, for a guy that was washed up over the hill. Hunter. Although he led him to a division title in '72, but yeah, you have not seen the things I have seen.
That's true.
Neither have you, Blue. You guys have not seen the things I've seen, and I don't wish it on you. Okay, it's carnage.
No, I've seen Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love. Been a really tough life as a Packers fan for me. What a shame. Really tough outing for me. But you're really bringing me back to my alma mater there, John, with the gravel roads and the tractor trailers. Denmark, Wisconsin, man. I've just got the visual of Denmark in my head right now. Well, Jason Wilde is driving. I don't know if he's driving to Denmark or from Denmark or through Denmark.
Soccer practice.
Soccer or volleyball or gymnastics. One of the many, cross country, one of the many activities his kids are in, I'm sure. As Jason Wilde will join us coming up next year on Green Bay Game Day for the Jason Wilde Hour. We will take a look at the injury report. We will play some yes or no, John and Jason's favorite game, and we will continue to preview this one between the Packers and the Jaguars. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Just who is Peter Bark?
Here's what Tammy Baldwin thinks about President Trump and you.
Donald Trump might be one of the most offensive and hateful and unacceptable presidential candidates we've ever had. So what does that say about the people who support him?
Tammy Baldwin is a liberal snob. Vote her out.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait, these popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Get ready for a festive season at the Bruce Company in Middleton. Jim Rutledge here. The Bruce Company Garden Center has packed their calendar with fun events for your whole family. Kickstart the holiday and visit their Autumn Artesian Fair. They also have exciting events like Ladies' Night Out, a visit with Icelandic horses and snowy owls, and of course, their reindeer fly-in and holiday open house. Mr. and Mrs. Claus will even be landing for a visit at the Bruce Company. So join in the fun this holiday season. Learn more about their upcoming events at brucecompany.com.
Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse isn't just a barbecue restaurant. Fish fry, walleye, and vegetarian options are available, and they have a menu that's sure to please everyone. Liberty Station smokes their meats daily with a 1,000-gallon custom smoker, giving you the freshest experience possible. Enjoy happy hour with daily discounts on both food and drinks at their large bar with 20 draft taps and multiple TVs to watch the big game. Be sure to check out their sprawling patio with an indoor and outdoor porch area too. Liberty Station off the Beltline on Rimrock Road.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
ESPN Madison is your new home for Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
That's a statement win for Wisconsin.
Every single night, 7,000 plus, and they are in your face.
From early season showdowns to a run for the national title. Catch every match this season on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Wisconsin's where it's at.
Let's go see how high we can go.
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Coors Light, Ridgetop Exteriors, Goodman's Jewelers, Carbon World Health, and North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truck Star Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truck Star Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truck Star is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truck Star Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Party people!
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside ESPN legend John Anderson and green and gold legend Bryan Bulaga. Here's Alex Strouf.
Woo! Away we go, Hour 2, Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga hanging out with you until kickoff at noon. And joining us now for the next hour, the Jason Wilde Hour, is the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, the co-host of Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. It is In Transit, Jason Wilde. What's up, Wilde? How are you?
No, I'm parked. I'm
not
moving anymore. I'm in the parking lot of a middle by myself with two dogs and a sign-up sheet for the start of club volleyball season. We got a lot on our plate today, boys. We got the first day of club volleyball. We've got the final game of the soccer season. We got some trick-or-treating. I mean, it's a jam-packed day. So I'm glad I could make time for you three knuckleheads.
What are you for Halloween? What are you dressing up as?
I'm dressing up as someone who will be watching the Packers Jaguars game, and I'll think back to in Green Bay, we don't do trick-or-treating on the Sunday before Halloween. We do it on Halloween, so it'll be that evening. But when I was growing up in the mean streets of Milwaukee, they always did it on the Sunday before Halloween, and invariably my father would grow increasingly ticked off that these children were coming to our door seeking free candy during the Packers games because he wanted to see those 41-38 shootouts that the Packers would invariably lose. So he did not appreciate being interrupted. Nice man, really lovely fellow.
Hey, for what it's worth, I think I'm team Mr. Wilde on that one. To be real honest with you, I don't want anybody bugging my Packers watching, but nonetheless, Packers, Jags, Jason, we've talked about it a lot the last few weeks, I should say. If this is the team we think they are, this is a game in which they really need to take care of business. And there go the dogs. I knew they were coming at some point. Oh boy!
Well, I thought I was safely in a parking lot, far away from everyone, and now some dog is coming through the valley far away too. I don't even know how they saw the dog. It's amazing.
Well, I knew this was going to make for some good radio. The hectic life of Jason Wilder.
Is it though? Is it making for good radio?
I'm not certain yet. Sadie really has an opinion on this Packers Jags game, Jason. I don't even know how to throw this to you in the midst of dog chaos.
I'm just moving to a different parking lot here at the school, so I'll be fine. I'm moving very slowly. It's totally fine. Please continue with your questions. They're just mad now that I took away their fun and pulled away from the dog that they were barking at. So it's I know this doesn't seem like it, but I actually am a professional, and I would love to.
He's a professional as we now lose his connection. This is going swimmingly. Okay, we've got him back now. If this is the team we think they are, they need to take care of business. Now 5.5-point favorites as that line continues to move, Jason. This is a show us what you're really made of type game once again.
Well, not only that, it's against a team that's not very good, right? Like Matt LaFleur, you could tell, and who was it, John? Was it Lou Holtz that used to always do the spiel about how good his opponent was, and the team was always terrible? Like, well, I mean, he could have done Missouri yesterday, but that's another discussion for another day. But the bottom line is these guys aren't very good, right? They have one of the worst pass defenses, not just in the league currently, but quite frankly, one of the worst in the last X number of years. So if there's a get-right game for Jordan Love to throw for lots of yards and very few interceptions, as you guys were discussing before Stella and Sadie and I came on, this is the game to do it. And I would think that Matt is aware of that. Now, at the same time, I thought the most important takeaway that I got week in terms of why they weren't better offensively wasn't the turnovers, although there were far too many of those. My biggest takeaway was if you can't put together sustained drives, you can't get the ball to anybody that you want to get the ball to, right? I mean, Josh Jacobs had, 12 carries for 76 yards? Like, he ran the ball extremely effectively, but with 5 3-and-outs and 2 interceptions early in those possessions, I think one was on the first play, one was on the second or third play. That's 7 largely empty drives. And if you're not picking up first downs, you're not getting the ball to Josh Jacobs. You're definitely not getting the ball to Christian Watson, who has been somewhat of a forgotten man in this offense. So these are all things that they are looking to be able to do in this game. And if they can put together some sustained drives, there'll be some opportunities to get everyone involved.
Yeah, that's the part that fascinates me. Is Christian Watson's lack of involvement the last couple of weeks. Because as we always say about him, he's somebody that opens up that offense so well. But I feel like he's been minimally involved. And maybe this is the week we see more Watson. But that's the number one guy offensively who I'd like to see more of that we haven't the last few weeks.
Yeah, and, Tom Silverstein and I spent some time talking to him. By the way, this dog is literally following us around Forest Glen Elementary. We're now on the opposite side, and it just walked by with its owners. It's like, hey, let's see if we can really mess this show up today. But it's behind us now, and I think we're okay. Here's the thing about Christian Watson, and Brian has heard me say this when he's been on with us on Wilde and Tausch, and he's heard me say it on the Homer Hour too. My respect for him has grown. And it's not like I didn't respect him before, but the way he was such a vocal supporter of Romeo Doubs during that whole saga, I thought was really interesting. But then when Tom Silverstein approached him during the week, we were the ones who brought up his role. Like, he answered about a dozen questions from TV folks, and none of them were about his numbers, about his 14 targets, about his 9 receptions. They were about going to Florida, where he's from. They were about having Robert Saleh on the coaching staff, all those types of things. And so it wasn't until Spoon and I brought it up that we talked to him. And what I like about him is, look, he basically said, look, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't be trying to support Rome and then do the same thing Rome did. So he believes that his opportunities will come. And I thought the most important thing that Adam Stenovich said this week, I joked about this with Brian, like, he is such a straight shooter. These offensive linemen, man, you want the truth, go to an offensive lineman. And whether it was, hey, Jordan Morgan's snaps were down. Yeah, Sean Ryan's playing a lot better than he is. So that was beautiful. And then when it came to, whether or not Christian Watson needed to be more involved, he just flat out, yeah, he does. End of story. Simple as that. And so I would expect them to do more to get Christian Watson involved today.
Yeah, but if they do that, we lose the headline every week.
How
do the Packers get Christian Watson more involved? Like, that's my favorite headline every week. Packers plan to get Christian Watson more involved in offense.
Yeah, and there's others that seem to focus on Josh Jacobs' touches. Josh Jacobs is 4th in the league in rushing yards and 4th in the league in carries. He's getting plenty of opportunities. I know most of them came in one game, but again, this is why. And Brian, you've heard coaches say this throughout your career. Oh, it's a good problem to have. It is, but a problem that's a good problem is still by definition a problem. And so making sure that your other guys are all getting involved when you have what I would argue to be 5 really good wide receivers, because I'm a Bo Melton believer. When you have that many guys, plus Tucker Kraft, plus Josh Jacobs, that's a lot of guys to keep happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I'm with you, Jason. Like, I give Watson a ton of respect for how he's handled everything so far this year. Listen, it's tough when, you see, your buddies that you're playing with, Reed and Dobbs and all these guys making plays, Tucker Kraft, and you're going out there, you're busting your butt, you're getting open or whatever it may be, and the ball is just not coming your way. Like, I give him a bunch of credit because you said it during the Romeo Dobbs thing. Like, if there's going to be someone that had a complaint, right, or it could very well be Watson, but he hasn't. He's just kept his nose down and just continued to work and work and work, and I expect him to be more productive, and it's nothing by him. That's the thing. Like, it's not like he's out there dropping passes or blowing routes. Like, he's doing none of that. It's not by his own doing. It's just the way things are working out, and I expect him to continue to get more opportunities as the season goes on, because when you have so many weapons, right, defenses are going to have to choose who they're taking away, right? Like, and I think a lot of defenses now are keying in on Reed and probably Tucker Kraft right now. So that's going to open up opportunities for Dobbs and for Watson. And obviously the run game is what it is. Like, you got to stop the run. There's one vocal point there. So I think Watson's going to continue to play well. But, I mean, we also see, and I think I asked you this on Thursday, like, or maybe I didn't, I forgot. But, like, there's got to be some point of emphasis on, I get Watson needs the ball, but, like, we've seen Reed's numbers go down a little bit the last few weeks. Like, that's got to be an emphasis, because he's our best playmaker, of getting him more involved in the offense going forward as well. Like, seeing him not be as productive, so to speak, over the last few weeks, I don't think it's a thing of concern, but it's got to be something that they're talking about. But it's got.
Yeah, I don't think there's any questions to be more involved too, and again, that goes back to the good problem to have, and it goes what I said. Like, look, I'm not saying that it puts extra pressure on your offense to get sustained drives going. That's obviously the goal of every off to ever play football in the history of the sport, right? To put together long drives, unless of course you can have a one-play 90-yard drive because a guy takes off on a long explosive play, obviously. So if you're not getting first downs and you're turning the ball over, you can't get everyone involved. They had 58 offensive plays against the Texans. I remember Mike McCarthy used to say you want to get at least 70 as an offense. And so to get 58, to have those kind of series, that's what leads to Jaden Reed and Christian Watson and Josh Jacobs not touching the ball frequently enough. Now, in fairness, Josh Jacobs did end up with 17 touches. He had the 5 receptions, one of them for his first career receiving touchdown. So it's not like he wasn't involved at all. But again, this is, the idea of it being a good problem to have. There's folks that argue that Love and his development, I know Tausch is one of them, was accelerated by the fact that he didn't have to force the ball to Devontae Adams. Right? And I get that. That's true. I don't know if he would have forced it the way Brett used to force the ball to Sterling Sharp necessarily, or the way Rodgers did toward the end of his time when he didn't trust the young receivers. But, this is also a challenge for a quarterback, right? And especially since I don't want to, this has a bad connotation, but I think Jordan Love is a bit of a people pleaser. He wants to keep all his guys happy. And if they're not getting the ball, he's aware of that. And at the same time, it's his job to go through the progressions and get the ball to who's open within the progressions. And so I guess the best thing that Matt LaFleur can do is to have a few more plays that have Reed as the number one option, have Watson as the number one option. Because, look, Romeo Doubs, I understand that they say that it's not a squeaky wheel gets the grease type of deal, but dude had 2 touchdowns in the Arizona game, and he had 10 targets against Houston. So it's not like he had anything to complain about the last 2 weeks.
Very true. Very true. All right, we're running a few minutes late, so when we come back, we'll play an abbreviated version of yes or no, which, by the way, I think it might be the best one ever. I firmly believe I will get yes or no answers from both John Anderson and Jason Wilde coming up next. We will also take a look. Pipe dreams. We will also take a look at the injury report presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. All still ahead. It's the Jason Wilde Hour of Green Bay Game Day right here on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. Whether I'm headed to a big college football game or just need a reliable ride, I trust AccuTrans Group. They're a veteran-owned business that delivers top-notch transportation, perfect for game day or any event. From tailgates to team outings to corporate travel and weddings, AccuTrans has you covered. Booking is a breeze and their service is always safe and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to book your ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com, your go-to for reliable transportation this football season.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 10 million users. Mark Toscher here, excited to tell you all about PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
What is the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea?
Sicily. Why do you keep saying it like that?
Mediterranean, because that's how I say Mediterranean. How are you supposed to say it?
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean. I say Mediterranean. I say Mediterranean. I skip a whole bunch of stuff.
He changes the T's to D's.
Mediterranean. That's how I say it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
From Holmes on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat, rub-a-dub-dub, 2 dogs and a dub. It's Green Bay Game Day with you, ESPN Wisconsin 620 WTMJ. I'm Alex Strouf. That is ESPN legend and Green Bay native John Anderson. That is former Packers first-round pick Super Bowl champion Bryan Bulaga. And that is 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year Jason Wilde and his 2 dogs, which might also have some Sports Writer of the Year credentials to their name as well. How are the dogs doing, Jason? Are they calmed down? They ready to play some yes or no?
We're on location number 4 of this parking lot, so you tell me how that's going.
Clearly not very well. Hopefully this goes a little bit better. We play this game each and every week on Green Bay Game Day. Jason loves it. It's called Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Will today be the day there are black and white answers from our most respected journalist?
Possibly. I think we shouldn't be greedy. Maybe. You would certainly hope so.
It's time for Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
I've never seen the grin on John Anderson's face so big. He loves this game. Let's get into it. Question 1. I saw this headline on Sports Illustrated, the Jacksonville Jaguars Sports Illustrated site this week. Quote, the Packers appear to be terrified of elite defender. That article was written about former Packer safety Darnell Savage. Yes or no, Jason Wilde? Darnell Savage is an elite defender.
What?
That's a real headline.
Well, what did the story say?
It quoted Matt LaFleur talking about how great Darnell has been this year, and then a couple of quotes from Jags personnel about how solid he's been in his 4 games. Elite defender. Yes or no? Darnell Savage.
Yeah, I haven't watched Darnell Savage play, so I can't speak to that.
Come on.
All I can say is that Xavier McKinney has undeniably been an elite defender, and I thought what Jeff Hafley said this week, somebody asked him, X has gone 2 games without an interception, and Hafley interrupts him and goes, have you seen anyone throw the ball even anywhere close to him?
Correct.
And the answer is no. And so I really think it's been interesting to see how much of a difference he has made even when he's not intercepting passes. He had a sack last week. I will say this unequivocally. He has been a colossal upgrade over elite defender Darnell Savage.
Okay, so somehow you still find a way to not answer that question, which was impressive. John
like
Anderson.
I said, I'm a professional.
John Anderson, yes or no? Darnell Savage is an elite defender.
I will pass my time to Bryan Bulaga.
Okay. I will. I'll take a crack at this. I got to play with Savage for a little bit. He was younger and kind of struggling to find his footing and what he was best at in Green Bay and what position he was supposed to be. Then injuries hit, and I don't think he ever got to that status in Green Bay. And kind of to Jason's point, I haven't been paying attention enough to Jacksonville games to really know if he's playing at an elite level. But all I can say is, based on how they've been playing defensively, I'm not sure if there's anyone on that defense playing at an elite level right now. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't know enough. I'll find out today. I'll watch today. You can ask me that, next time around.
I will.
I'll watch today and see.
Hey, spoiler alert. The answer's no, you idiots. I thought I was giving you a layup there. Let's try this again. Yes or no? The Packers need to stop using Jaden Reed as a punt returner. Jason.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true. I mean, I think they need to pick their spots with when to use him as a punt returner, but they should use him less than they had been previously. I would like to see them reduce but not stop using him. So, once again, that's a borderline yes or no, I guess. We have some... by the way, we have some breaking news on the injury front, so I don't know how quickly you would like to get to that. But they're not going to stop using him. I can tell you that. They want to keep using him. And those of us that have suggested that it's too dangerous have been laughed at, which seems to be happening with me a lot lately with Rich Bisaccia.
John, Jaden Reed on punt returns.
I think the answer is either yes or no. I just don't think that can be a part-time job. I think you should put the right guy in there. I don't mind him back there. I'd put him back there all the time. So I just don't think you can just go, oh, well, we'll put him back here this time because, and maybe you think this time we need really 12 yards on it. But I do think that that's a full-time job, and I don't want to parcel it out. So it's either yes, unless it's no. But I think he should be back there.
That's the first time in a month a non-answer has not pissed me off. That was well done by you, J.I. I actually agree with that analysis. Real quick, Blue, before
pissed you off? That seems strong.
Probably a little strong. Blue, your thoughts on Jaden Reed as a punt returner before we get to the injury report?
Yeah, I don't love it simply because I don't want to see a key player get hurt by something dumb happening. He fair catches a ball, someone rolls into his ankle or knee, and something dumb happens. So, I'd rather have him off it. I thought Nixon was a good returner in both aspects. I think he should be the guy that's back there. He's shown that he can be explosive and take it to the house from time to time. So I would put Nixon back there.
Fantastic. All right, it's time now to get to the injury report, which is brought to you by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com today for info. So coming into this game, they had 3 guys questionable, just 1 doubtful. And now we take a look with Jason Wilde at today's injury report as he teased some breaking news.
Yeah, they'll be without Quay Walker today, who, even though he was in the concussion protocol, he did practice on a limited basis on Thursday and Friday, and usually when a guy's able to do that, he ends up being cleared for the game, but that is not the case with him. He is inactive for today. Devontae Wyatt, however, is back after being sidelined for 3 games with his ankle sprain, and Josh Myers, who, as Brian has talked about, has played quite well this season. He had a stinger. I was talking to him in the locker room today, on Friday, going back to how offensive linemen are so honest. he basically said, my life sucks right now. I've got a stinger on one side. I've got a wrist injury on the other. He really needs that bye week, but he's not going to miss time. You know, that's how Brian is wired. That's how Tausch was wired as a player. So he is good to go as well. But I am curious now to see how things play out today, because as we talked about on Green Bay game day or Green Bay game night after the game last week, Eric Wilson played really well in place of Quay Walker.
Body beautiful.
And he did not get any work during the week. I'm guessing he got plenty of work during the week this week. I'm eager to see how he plays.
A 2-sack game last week for Eric Wilson, whose nickname is Body Beautiful. I was not just saying that to Jason for no reason. That is his nickname within the locker room. Eric Wilson.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're very welcome. Just didn't want your ego to get even bigger.
I was
than
totally
it is.
confused. Yeah.
Yes, I can think of a lot of things I can be called. That is definitely not among.
But if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the week, Jason, you did refer to yourself as the Eric Wilson of ESPN Wisconsin.
No, I definitely didn't.
No, you definitely did, though, is the issue. You could find that on the Weekly Wildy Show on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page, something Jason and I do each and every Thursday hour. We continue the reaction to the injury report, continue to preview this one. Packers, Jags down in Jacksonville, about 90 minutes away from kickoff. Jason's with us for another half an hour. Bulaga, Anderson, and I with you until kickoff at noon right here on Green Bay Game Day, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Enough is enough. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure the border, and defend our Wisconsin values. Here's Eric Hovde.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys in girls' sports and in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Big players show up in big games.
Touchdown!
Donald Driver and Cousins Subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery this Saturday through Sunday on any order of $30 or more.
Touchdown!
Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truck Star Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Here we go. Green Bay Game Day continues. ESPN Wisconsin 620 WTMJ. I'm Alex Strouf from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga joining me throughout. Jason Wilde with us here for the Jason Wilde Hour. My favorite thing about our jobs, man, is listeners don't forget. Chris in Nashville tweets in, Strouf, Jason absolutely referred to himself as the Eric Wilson of ESPN Wisconsin. Body beautiful, Wilde.
Yeah, I think context is always important, and the way you were framing that was inaccurate, and you know that, and you did it anyway, which is charming and irritating. Talk about things that piss people off. That might be one. The fact of the matter is he's a veteran guy who you need guys like that on your team. And you can have young talent, if I recall our conversation more accurately than you depicted it. We've got a lot of really young, talented people at ESPN Wisconsin. And then we got John Anderson and me, right? I mean, Bulaga, still early in his radio career, but certainly a savvy veteran, but he's kind of in his prime, right? Same with Tausch. I've been doing this now, season 29, covering the team. John Anderson, I mean, again, all the items I can find on eBay celebrating his great commercials on VHS tapes and stuff. Like, he's done it for a long time. And so guys like Eric Wilson may not be huge stars, but those are the types of guys you need on your team. And our stars are Tausch and Bulaga and Chewy and those guys. And, you know, some of us that maybe aren't as big as stars need to be able to deliver, and that's what Eric Wilson needs to do today.
So, by the way, if you're 29 years, have you seen every Packers-Jags game?
Yeah, so 90. Would they have played him in their inaugural season?
The first year, I think they played him was like 96.
Yeah, I think so. 96 was my first season, but I think they played like a road game, and I didn't start traveling during the 96 season until the second half of the year. And I had to take a train to the Super Bowl, which is a whole nother story. I don't recommend that. When the game, I mean, if the game had been, you know, in Indianapolis maybe, but it was in New Orleans. So I have been to Jacksonville. It is one of the few places where, and I can't remember if Blue was on the team yet or not, but we were at this rundown, like they should have been filming a horror movie at it. It was like a Holiday Inn something, and the only place, there was one restaurant within walking distance, and I wasn't entirely sure that I was going to get back to the hotel without some sort of criminal activity. So I'm sure that they're at a nicer place this time around.
95 was the first year they played.
Yep, September.
Yeah, that was my first year.
And I imagine the year you're referring to, Jason, I imagine would be 08, which would obviously be prior to Brian's arrival, which was a 20-16 Jags win. All-time series, Packers lead 5-2, which is their current record. With a win today, it would be 6-2. So that's whatever the result is, the Packers' record in the series and the season remains the same. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying. So we talk a lot about Jordan Love and our team. I'd like to scout the other side a little bit. What are they saying? with the Packers about Trevor Lawrence, because I think he's a talented guy. I just haven't seen him be a talented NFL quarterback yet. And yet I look at some of the other ones the Packers have faced with the Jaguars, and I think he's probably better than Blaine Gabbert. I don't know if he's David Garrard, but I don't know. What are they saying about having to face this guy? Because when he's good, he can throw it.
Just showing off your knowledge of Jaguars quarterbacks. I'm so impressed right now.
I was at the Hall of Fame game when they played. That very first game they played against Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who their quarterback was then.
In what capacity? Were you doing SportsCenter from there?
I was working in Tulsa, and every one of the guys that had been inducted into the Hall of Fame that year had a connection to Oklahoma. It was Leroy Selman. It was it wasn't Leroy. It was Steve Largent was the big one. Jim Finks, who had played at Tulsa, was there. It was the year that for the Henry Jordan went in to the Hall of Fame. So I had a connection to a bunch of Kellen Winslow went in, so I had a connection to him. But big ones were Finks and Largent for Tulsa when I was working there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those Hall of Fame games are super fun. Actually, everything else except the game is generally fun, as Brian well knows. So look,
Trevor Lawrence.
I don't want to go so far as to call Trevor Lawrence a cautionary tale, but there were certainly times where I'm sure the Jaguars and their fans and people in the NFL were looking at him and saying a lot of the same wonderful things that have been said about Jordan Love. Now, you guys, I tuned in early while I was driving with Stella and Sadie and heard you talking about the interceptions for Love. And I wrote something in the State Journal today off of the conversations that I had with Jordan and with a few other people about how he is taking more chances and he is sort of painting outside the design more often than not. And I think that one thing that Trevor Lawrence seems to do is play within the offense more and maybe doesn't make those types of plays that make you go, whoa, like the throw to Reed in L.A. that was into triple coverage that probably shouldn't have been thrown, but worked out great. The touchdown to Dobbs against the zero blitz that had more hang time than a Daniel Whelan punt, but still worked out for a touchdown. Like those are playmaker plays that Jordan Love makes. And I don't know if, Trevor Lawrence only has 3 picks this year. He's doing a great job of not turning the ball over, but they're not doing a great job of winning, right? And so I just, my struggle with understanding, because I don't understand it either. I don't have a good answer for you, John. My struggle with understanding him, because I went back and watched a couple of their games during the course of the week on NFL Plus, and what I don't get is, Doug Peterson knows quarterbacking. He knows coaching. Mm-hmm. He knows offensive design. I mean, he was in Kansas City with Reed. He played for Reed. He won a Super Bowl in Philly. And yet he doesn't seem capable of solving the riddle of making Trevor Lawrence productive either.
Yeah, that's it feels like Peterson is a dead man walking, which is unfortunate because I think we would all agree he's a good head coach, but he just hasn't been able to figure it out in Jacksonville, Brian. That part's fascinating about the 2-5 start for the Jags to me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean their owner said to start the year this is the most talented team that they've ever had in Jacksonville, and they start 2-5, and you watch the games that they've played. I think I've watched like 2 or 3 of them, and they don't look like the best team that's ever been assembled there. I can assure you that. It certainly doesn't look that way. So, I think Peterson's a good football coach. Obviously, he did really well in Philly and had a lot of success there and won a lot of games, and it hasn't translated. And a lot of that could be potentially culture. It's hard to change a culture, even if you're a serial winner of a head coach coming into a place, like you've won a lot of games, you know how to build that culture. It's hard to build it in losing buildings. It's really hard, and it's not like especially with the NFL and the salary cap that you can just clean everyone out and start anew again. It doesn't work that way. So it's very hard to build the winning culture, and that starts obviously with who you draft, who you sign, and forever the Jaguars always went to free agency to buy guys. So they always bought guys and didn't draft and develop guys and bring them up in a culture. So the cycle just kind of continues to repeat itself in Jacksonville, and I feel like that's where they're at. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Peterson's going to get. I don't know how many more games he's going to get or what it's going to take, but can't imagine it's going to go too much longer for him this year.
Yeah, he might be.
I don't know. They're still paying Urban Meyer.
That's a good point.
They've sold out a lot of them. By the way, did you know the fact that this show airs 10 to 1 or 9 to 12 is the only indication I had today that they were not playing in London? Otherwise, I would have just assumed they were playing. I don't know. They've been there most of the year.
Certainly feels that way. That's their home away from home, or maybe Jacksonville is their home away from home, the way that the schedule has bounced out so far this year. We will get Jason Wilde's final thoughts on Packers-Jaguars coming up next. We continue to preview just an injury update in case you missed it. Quay Walker, the linebacker, will miss today's game due to the concussion he suffered last week against the Houston Texans. Eric Wilson will start in his place. Devontae Wyatt makes his return since injuring his ankle in that Minnesota game a couple of weeks back. So Devontae Wyatt back for the D-line. Quay Walker out for the linebackers. That's really the big summary of your injury report in terms of inactives and actives. So there's the news on your defensive side of the football. We will continue to preview this one and get Jason Wilde's final thoughts coming up next. It is Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you. Hi, Dave from Canopy Wealth Management here. Our balanced approach helps guide you through a complex and ever-changing landscape. Throughout your family's financial planning journey, we will serve as a partner, advocate, and steward in all aspects to help you achieve your goals with confidence. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
If your child faces an unsafe situation at home, are they prepared? Tuesday, October 29th from 3:45 to 5:15 p.m., Stoughton Health is hosting the class Safe at Home at Stoughton Hospital. For students in grades 4 through 6, students learn to practice safe habits, prevent unsafe situations, how to handle an emergency like a power failure, weather, injuries, and illnesses. Class fee is $25. Financial assistance is available. Visit stoughtonhealth.com to register, then click on Classes and Events.
Hey friend, ready for a sweet trip down memory lane? Head to the bake sale at Quick Trip. Craving those fresh, oven-baked cookies like Grandma used to make? The Quickery's got 'em. Baked with love and a touch of that old-fashioned goodness. In a rush? Grab a muffin for just $1.19. A perfect on-the-go treat. From glazers to cake donuts. Indulge at the bake sale. So what are you waiting for? Treat yourself. Only at Quick Trip.
Black Friday is Cash Friday at Ho Chunk Dave in Madison. On Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m., 18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion. And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize. Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day. And we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth $25 in rewards play. Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Stop.
Uh-oh. Dogs are growling. I hear them. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. About an hour away from kick. The 5-2 Green Bay Packers, the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga, Jason Wilde. Hanging out with you for a few more minutes in the Jason Wilde Hour. Jason, how would you grade the Dogs' performance today on Green Bay Game Day?
Again, I would say they've rallied and been very attentive. We went for a brief walk during a commercial break and not caused trouble, but I tried to park far away from where all the festivities were going to be, and now all these other parents have parked right next to me. I thought I had parked far away from the front door, so it would be a wise place, and instead now we're distracted by 10 other sets of parents of Sid's teammates who have arrived for this meeting. So it's really not worked out the way I'd hoped at all, but I don't blame the Dogs, I blame the humans.
And despite a Jordan Love injury, this season has worked out pretty well for the Packers. 5-2 entering this one here in week number 8 in Jacksonville. Jordan Love misses 2 games, but here they are at 5-2. He leads the league in interceptions, tied with Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew with 8 interceptions, but also second in the league in touchdown despite missing 2 games with 15. Jordan Love, you wrote it in the State Journal today, as you referenced before, how Jordan Love's risk-taking approach is accelerating the Packers quarterback's growth. That's your Sunday article in the State Journal today, Jason. Through 7 weeks, 5 games for Jordan Love. How would you evaluate year 2 as a starter for Jordan Love? Seems like he is still the guy we saw in the second half of last season, but probably taking a few more risks than Packers fans are used to, given the 15 years they saw of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I enjoyed being able to make a Bob Ross reference because I love Bob Ross, and he actually has his own channel now, so you can watch the joy of painting 24/7.
Wow!
And I always found it very calming to listen to him paint some happy little trees. But look, this is if we look at what Jordan Love did during the second half of last season, and I am in no way saying that he didn't have some wow throws. But this was a guy that you guys know I would talk about how in the first couple of years I didn't see many wow throws from him. Now we see regularly some wow throws, right? I mean, even ones that kind of go under the radar a little bit, like how he got that 4th down pass to Christian Watson a couple of weeks ago over Chris Barnes and in front of the safety to convert that 4th down. Like he makes some remarkable throws now. But he is pushing boundaries. He is testing the limits. He's taking risks that, as John said earlier when I was waiting to come on, he isn't Charlie Checkdown. Now, are there times where he should be a little more Charlie Checkdown and a little less, Donovan downfield? Yes, there are times where he should do that. But the bottom line is and as Jordan says in the story, to become the kind of quarterback that makes the plays that other quarterbacks don't, you have to try and make some of those plays. And he has done that, and there have been mixed results. I get it. And you guys made a great point earlier while the Dogs and I were driving about how we went from Favre, who threw more interceptions than anyone in the history of the planet playing professional football, to Aaron Rodgers, who has thrown more passes without throwing a gargantuan number of interceptions, at least until he got to New York, as John said. And now somewhere in between is Jordan Love, and he's trying to figure it out. So I'm not in any way saying that Packers fans should be concerned or nervous or frustrated, but this is a process, and I will say the same phrase that I say all the time that I get made fun of both in my house by my children and by Tausch on the show. growth is not linear. There are going to be setbacks. There are going to be games where you don't play as well. There's going to be a cross-country meet where you don't PR. That's what happens. It's not always a perfectly straight upward line, and that's the case with Jordan Love. But I would argue that the line is still very much on an upward climb, and it is going to continue to be.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been really impressed with some of the throws he's made, albeit some of them into triple coverage that have been completions this year, right? I mean, he has the Favre-esque of what is he doing right there? Oh wait, holy crap, that was cool, right? Like we didn't see that a ton with Rodgers. With Rodgers, it was always, oh wow, right? He's going to make that throw. With Favre and a little bit with Love, it's more hold your breath. We'll see what happens. And it's been a joy to watch here at 5-2 now, heading to Jacksonville. All right, Jason, we got to get you out of here. So give us your final thoughts going into this game. I imagine it will be to the beat of, if this is the team we think they are, they will take care of business today.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that I vowed I would never say again. For those that have not heard this story. On the bus to Super Bowl 32, I'm a young 25-year-old second-year NFL reporter. I wasn't body beautiful then either, but I was a heck of a lot thinner and probably slightly more attractive. And being the know-it-all that I was, that young people tend to be, no one in particular here, of course. I said, I don't see any way the Packers lose this game on the media bus to Qualcomm Stadium. Couldn't have been more wrong. I vowed I would never say that again, but I'm going to test karma today. I don't see any way the Packers lose this game today. I just don't. This is not a very good football team that they're facing. And if they do lose, then as you just said, Strouf, they are not the football team we think they are.
John, you yelled out, what would you say, duck?
Right, that's it takes chances, but I am not one that worries about saying stuff like that. I'm also not a guy that changes positions, or I don't blame where I'm sitting for people throwing interceptions like a lot of other people I know. So, listen, it is as I believe a Wildy description. It was a nondescript game, or maybe that was just a headline. And the only way to make it descript would be to lose it. So I would prefer that it stays to be nondescript.
Brian, I imagine you agree with the assessment of Jason Wilde. No way you don't see a way the Packers lose this game.
Well, there
are certainly ways.
There's a lot of ways they can. I don't think they will.
Yeah, there's always a way that. That's why the NFL is so compelling week in and week out, because things happen. And while I don't think that they will lose this football game, there are certainly ways. Yeah. That you can put yourself in a position to lose a game. And I don't think that they will do that today, and I really love their chances, but I never say never. I've been in these types of games where you say there's no way we can, lose to this team, and we either lose or we come really close to losing, and things like that happen. So, well, I agree with Jason that they're probably going to win. I never take never off the table.
I like that.
Or no.
Yes or no, indeed. Jason Wilde, you hear him weekdays 9 to noon with Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher on Wilde and Tausch. You hear him on all of our programming across ESPN Wisconsin, even 620 WTMJ. And you can catch him immediately after the game with Homer, Gary Ellerson, and Tausch on Green Bay Game Night. Jason, appreciate the insight. I hope your proclamation there is correct. We'll be listening to you tonight and tomorrow on Wilde and Tausch. Thanks, buddy.
I've been in this parking lot for a full hour. I was an hour early for this meeting, and now I'm 4 minutes late. So I will see you guys later.
Crack a window for the dogs.
It is.
That's Jason Wilde here about Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. We will bring back up the idea of a trap game. I think Bryan Bulaga played in one, and I want to bring that game up to him coming up next as we continue to preview Packers Jaguars under an hour away from kickoff down in Jacksonville here in Week 8 of the NFL season. Hour 3, the final hour of our program, starts in just a couple of minutes right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
TMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Here's what Tammy Baldwin thinks about President Trump and you.
Donald Trump might be one of the most offensive and hateful and unacceptable presidential candidates we've ever had. So what does that say about the people who support him?
Tammy Baldwin is a liberal snob. Voter out.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Hey, it's Matt Hamilton here, and as a proud Wisconsinite, I'm all about supporting local. And there's nothing more local than Metcalf's Market. Fall is in the air, and Metcalf's is your go-to for all things seasonal. From Wisconsin-grown carving pumpkins, pie pumpkins, and colorful gourds to the freshest apples from Munchkie Apples in Mount Horeb. Craving something sweet? You've got to try the Munchkie Apple Cider Donuts, made with those locally grown apples. Stop by their locations at Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or in Wauwatosa. If you're looking for a gourd deal, look no further than Metcalf's Market, and bring local home.
ESPN Madison is your new home for Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
That's a statement win for Wisconsin.
Every single night, 7,000 plus, and they are in your face.
From early season showdowns to a run for the national title. Catch every match this season on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Wisconsin's where it's at.
Let's go see how high we can go.
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Coors Light, Ridgetop Exteriors, Goodman's Jewelers, Carbon World Health, and North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
Josh Gavel is a service manager with Kirsch Appliance. They have printer technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Josh?
I would say you're a business partner in helping us do what we need to do.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company with the whole package. Better technology, better support, better service.
You're always willing to help with any issues and have a good attitude.
An attitude of doing whatever it takes to help local businesses run more smoothly, efficiently, and cost-effectively, all to help their clients be more competitive and more successful. Josh, anything you'd like to tell others about James Imaging Systems?
Yeah, they will provide what you're looking for and figure out what solutions you need and come up with a good plan for you.
Sounds like a good plan, all right. Document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside ESPN legend John Anderson and green and gold legend Bryan Bulaga. Here's Alex Strouf.
Away we go, hour 3, Green Bay Game Day, leading you up to kickoff. Green Bay Packers, Jacksonville Jaguars here in Week 8 of the NFL season. I threw the poll out at the beginning of the show on Twitter, at Alex_Strouf, at ESPN Milwaukee. Is this trap game material for the Green Bay Packers? 68% of people vote yes as trap game material. Doesn't mean it's a trap game, but it is trap game material. I think of one game in particular in the past 15 or so years for the Green Bay Packers that I view as a trap game. Bryan Bulaga played in that game. I'm curious if he knows what game I'm thinking of. Brian, does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, I mean, the one that jumps off the page to me is 2011 against Kansas City.
Yep, ding, ding, ding. That's the one.
Kansas City.
Yeah, that's the one. They were 5-8 entering that game. You guys were 13-0. You were 11.5-point favorites, and you fell 19-14. And it was honestly worse than that because Rodgers scored that little scamper at the end of the game that pulled it within 5. But ultimately, the only loss you took that regular season, ending the season 15-1. Obviously, Rodgers wins his first MVP that year, and we know the rest coming off of the Super Bowl. Really fun regular season, but that the only loss against a non-playoff team. When you think back to that game, what sticks out aside from Tom Bahali's 3 sacks on Aaron Rodgers? Anything else that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I remember going into the game and we obviously felt any game we played that year, we felt really good about. Yeah. We felt that we could go in and beat any team, that we could, score 30 points. I think our average was right around 30 a game that year. I mean, we were a good outfit. And I remember getting into start of the game, and maybe you get stopped on a drive or something. Okay, that's football. This happens. This team, they just brought in Romeo Cannell to start as their head coach. That was his first game. He was the interim head coach. So you knew there was going to be a little spark from their side for guys playing for their new head coach. Cannell was a really well-liked guy. So you knew there was going to be a little spark. And you could sense it. You could feel it. And as we went through the first quarter and nothing was really happening, and they were, offensively they were making plays. Defensively they were obviously, getting after Aaron. Tom Ali was really good. You could feel the momentum slowly start to shift in the stadium. And it's not like the players on our side didn't stop believing that we could get it done. But when the momentum switches in a game, it's almost undescribable, what happens to the environment. You start giving belief to a group of players that haven't had much belief all year, and they start to feel like they can do something special on that day. And that's hard when you're already behind the count to regain that momentum and get it back and take that belief away from the team. And that's what happened, right? We could just never get a foothold of the game. And they continued. I mean, they didn't score 30 points or do anything crazy, but they played really good defense. They had a great plan. And offensively, they just did enough. And we didn't play good enough. And you get beat. And no one saw it coming. 11-point favorites, which is almost unheard of in the NFL. That's crazy that there's an 11-point favorite. And that was a trap game because all the signs were pointing to us going 16-0 that year and kind of, doing that. And that was, besides the Lions at the end of the year, that was another game towards the end. You're they're a bad team. We should be fine. And, well, it turned out the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, 45-41 the final in that one.
Yeah, so, it was just a game that I'm not saying we overlooked, but we certainly didn't go into it the way we probably should have from a mental standpoint. And being dialed in from minute 1 to 60. So that's kind of what happens in these types of games when you're going against an opponent that you think you should go in there and just beat. These things happen, and I'm hoping they avoid that today.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brian. John, I don't know how much you study betting lines, but I'm a little bit fascinated at the way this one has moved. The Packers opened as 5.5-point favorites. It's now down to 3.5, but they're still road favorites against a probably mediocre to bad team. But Jacksonville getting a little bit more points their way. Packers now 3.5-point favorites. Does that make you nervous at all, or do you just kind of ignore that? For whatever reason, not hearing John now. We will.
John, you on mute?
Uh-oh. Okay, we'll work on that. Brian, I'll flip that question over to you as we figure out John's audio difficulties. As a player, I imagine you're never looking at the betting lines, but now as a member of the media, esteemed member of the media as you are now, 5.5 to 3.5 seems interesting for a good Packers team that's on a nice winning streak against a bad Jacksonville team.
Yeah, it's an interesting movement in that line. I mean, I will say that, I don't think anything came out pre-game, besides obviously Quay Walker being out, right? I don't know anything that would move that line that much this close to the game. So clearly Vegas believes that there's a lot of money coming in on Jacksonville for that spread at the 5, and the line is moved. I mean, as a player, that's obviously something I'd never even looked at, didn't really care. Yeah. You knew when you were the underdog going into a week. And that was normally pretty obvious when you were the dog or the favorite going into any given game week based on records and things like that. But we never paid attention to what the line was, right? Yeah. It was, at least I never paid attention to what the line was. And, to see it move, 2 points, 2.5 points, whatever it was, it's an interesting deal, right? Because I don't 3 points. I mean, I think Green Bay, the 5 I thought was being generous for bettors, giving them 5 points. The Jags, that is. I thought that was being generous. Yeah. So, because I see this as Green Bay going in there and taking care of business by more than the 5. But, again, I'm not Vegas.
I like how you tossed out there. You knew when you were underdogs. That happened. You could probably count on 2 hands how many times that happened during your tenure as a Green Bay Packer. Those teams were always so good, with few exceptions. I don't think it happened that often. John, we had you back. I think we have you back. Test 1 2. World to John Anderson. Okay, we lost him again. Interesting. We will continue to work on reconnecting with John Anderson here on Green Bay Game Day. Alex Strouf, Bryan Bulaga, hanging out with you. We'll step aside for just a few minutes. When we come back, we will take a look at the best bets presented by the Island Resort and Casino. We've also got to hit our Gruber Law Office's one call for the game. We've got to give you final thoughts just under 45 minutes away from kickoff. The 5-2 Green Bay Packers, the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. Packers now 3.5-point favorites going to Jacksonville on the road here today in week number 8 of the NFL season. Man, it just flies by. Already week 8 of the NFL season here at the end of October. We continue to preview this matchup. Coming up next, it's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin right here on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Enough is enough. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure the border, and defend our Wisconsin values. Here's Eric Hovde.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys in girls' sports and in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Introducing Love Madison, professional volleyball like you've never seen it before. You saw them win in Paris this summer. Now you can see them playing for the first time on American soil. Love Madison Volleyball will feature some of the best pro players in the world, including silver medalist Lauren Carlini and Annie Drew Schumacher. Get ready for first serve on January 17th at the Wisconsin Fieldhouse. Visit lovb.com for tickets today. Volleyball is the next major league.
At Grunberg Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
Well, we had the home we're the home team. UCLA coach said, that's our locker room. Is it okay if we just stay there and you take the visitors' locker? I said, hell no. It's the home team. You get your stuff out of here. I love it. We'll just keep this locker room. That's
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, because Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, former Packer Bryan Bulaga hanging out with you. Time now to look at some of our best bets, which are presented by the Island Resort and Casino. The Island Resort and Casino is a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee. With everything you like to do in one awesome location, visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. Jordan Love getting respect from the sports books, fellas. I mean, despite the interceptions, his touchdown total each week keeps going up and up and up. The only one books are accepting this week is the over-under 2.5 passing touchdowns. So he's either got to throw 3 or more, or 2 or less. If you like the over, it's got to be 3 or more. John Anderson, I'll start with you. How many touchdowns Jordan Love throwing today?
Are you really starting with me?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if you could hear me the last time.
I can. Yeah, I knew we got you back, so I'm going back to you because we lost the brilliant insight last segment.
Well, all I know is that if the line's coming down like that I don't know who believes in trap game, but apparently America's betting public does.
Yeah,
what that tells you. Maybe
the sharps do.
You and I don't, but if it keeps coming down, well, the movement's a reflection of the money coming in, right? That's not who they think's going to win. They think who can balance out the books. And so if it keeps coming down, somebody thinks there's a trap game to be had. I'm going to take the under. I just don't know that you can continue to throw 3 touchdown passes a game. Maybe Dan Marino. And maybe Peyton Manning when you throw 6 of them from the 1-yard line because you want to get to 59 or whatever obnoxious number that is. So I just think that's a hard pace to keep going. I think if they'd have their druthers, especially against this game, it's a team that doesn't handle the run very well. They don't handle anything very well. But, if we can run it, establish that, get done, get out of there, then I think that's probably the way to go. I don't know that you got to, fire everything all the time, which doesn't sound good for keeping everybody happy in the wide receiver room. But, I just think it's a hard pass. So I'll go under there.
Under 2.5 for John Anderson. Bulaga, you think he can throw 3 touchdowns today?
Well, I think he can. It's certainly in his bag of tricks that he can throw 3 touchdowns any game, any week against any opponent. with this line starting to shrink, right? I guess now we're getting into betting talk. I don't know the type of game it's going to be and what Jacksonville's going to try to do and all that. If they're going to try to shorten the game by running the ball, controlling the clock, and things of that nature. But I think this is going to be a big week for Jacobs. I think he's going to have a big game this week. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 as well. I think he probably throws 2 touchdowns, but I think Jacobs carries a big brunt of it. And so yeah, I'm going to go with John. I'm going to go under that.
Let's go to Josh Jacobs, who I know John was fist pumping and cheersing and throwing confetti last week when he finally scored that receiving touchdown. John's favorite stat in the history of stats. Josh Jacobs today, 63.5 rushing yards. Is the over-under. 63.5. Bulaga, I imagine you're taking the over on that.
I'm definitely taking the over on that.
You think it? Yeah,
I'm going to take the over.
Ride the horse against a pretty good D-line, right? Jacksonville doesn't do a ton great, but their D-line's pretty good. Obviously, Josh Hines-Allen leads the charge back there, but former number 1 overall pick Trevon Walker on the other end, and Eric Armstead is inside 3 of those 4 pieces in the 4-3 base. So pretty good D-line. Josh Jacobs going to attempt to attack it today, though. I'm with you, Brian. I would take the over on 63.5. John, you want to make it unanimous?
Yeah, I'll take the over, and as you said, I'll never forget where I was when Josh Jacobs scored his first NFL
You say that sarcastically, but I actually think
I will tell my kids about this. Right. I will tell my kids about this. I remember exactly where I was and who it was against. I think it was the Texans. I don't even remember. But it's certainly right there with where I remember exactly where I was when Ken Stabler threw the sea of hands pass, and David Tyree caught the ball off, or whoever, Victor Cruz, whatever. I remember
David Tyree. Yeah, you're right about that. So John clearly being sarcastic, but the stat we're of course referring to is Josh Jacobs holds the record now in NFL history for most receptions until the first receiving touchdown, which occurred last week against the Houston Texans. We brought that stat up at the beginning of the season. I think it was week 1 against Philadelphia. And John spent the entirety of the segment telling me how stupid that stat was and how much he hated it and how he never wanted to hear me bring it up again. So in natural Alex Strouf fashion, all I have done is bring it up to John Anderson. I texted him the moment it happened last week, and he did not respond to me, might I add.
Did I not?
No, not on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, you waited until Tuesday.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Sunday, at the time this was happening, I was at a awards dinner that I could not get back to, and then I was traveling back all day Monday.
Oh, so yeah, you know what? Shame on me. I've made it almost 2.5 hours into the program without acknowledging. Brian, I don't even know if you know this. Last weekend, our guy John Anderson,
we don't need to do that.
Oh yeah, we do, was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame last week. John Anderson, for his lifelong dedication in sports media.
Fantastic.
So very big news. Congratulations, John. Any highlights from last week? I know you're the most humble dude in the world, so you hate talking about yourself, but it is a really cool accomplishment and a cool honor you got last weekend. Anything that sticks out from your trip back to Missouri last weekend?
Well, I bought a house. And I got a plaque. That was my trip to Missouri last weekend.
So you did. You found a house as well.
Got a house. Got a key to my office. So that was good on campus. A lot of very productive and we beat Auburn when we came back, and then our quarterback was hurt and we lost it. But so it was a very good weekend, which was good. And then all I remember is the guy saying to all of us, he goes, "Hey, just so you know, now you're in this Hall of Fame. Everybody's the same once you're in. So you and Stan Musial are the same guy." Yeah. I'm like, I don't know about that, but there it is. But I went in with one of the great NFL career backups, but was such a great Missouri Tiger, Chase Daniel. I don't know if you were out with him, but so a really good guy, really smart guy. That's why you stay in the league 14 years, is because you're super smart. And the coach goes, "I know this guy will run exactly what I want to run," and that kind of thing. So that was good. So it was all good, and I just couldn't get back to you until Tuesday. And I hope I sent back something that was remarkably caustic and insulting about that stat, which is just
you responded so excited for that, young man. Hall of Fame is now guaranteed. That was your response.
He's probably going to Canton.
Get
him a gold blazer.
Yeah, might as well get him fitted for it after he sets that NFL record.
Yep.
All right,
never be touched.
Last best bet presented by the Island Resort and Casino. I actually want you guys to call your shot. The receiver you are most confident will score a touchdown today for the Green Bay Packers is blank.
I'm gonna go Reed because he's been off the score sheet the last few weeks. I'm gonna go with him.
I'll second that.
I hope it. Like I was gonna say, I hope Watson gets more involved. But I just think Reed. I think 2 weeks quiet. I think he's getting back in the score column this week.
I'm going to go and try to manifest a touchdown for Christian Watson. So that's where I'm going. I don't know that I believe that. I'm just trying to make it happen. I'm trying to manifest that. And by the way, if this works, wait till you. Then after that, I'm going to shoot 75 in golf. I got a lot of other things. But if I can get this one done first, we'll see where we're at. But yeah, I'm going to try to manifest one for Christian Watson.
Just like the former quarterback Aaron Rodgers, John Anderson believes in the power of manifestation. You and Aaron Rodgers, two peas in a pod, no doubt about it. When you look at books, Christian Watson, there's some value there if you are of the betting type. 28.5 receiving yards is all it is this week for Christian Watson, which, given his speed and his ability to stretch the field, he could get that done in one catch, 28.5 yards for Christian Watson.
Say that a lot. Just got to throw it to him.
Exactly. True that. That is the best bets presented by the Island Resort and Casino. Coming up next on the other side, we take a look at our Gruber Law Office's one call. Each of us will make one prediction of something that will happen in the game. That is not our game prediction, but something we think will happen, something the Packers have schemed up, either offensively or defensively. We will take a look at that coming up next with the Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, John Anderson, and the Super Bowl champion, Bryan Bulaga. I'm Alex Strouf. It's Green Bay Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
There's a clear choice for U.S. Senate. Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure our border, and defend our Wisconsin values.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Looking to get away this winter? Well, now's your chance. Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. Our friends at Coors Light are giving away a Florida experience this December, and you could win. This trip for two includes a travel and hotel voucher, club-level tickets to the Boca Bowl on Wednesday, December 18th, and exclusive access to events surrounding the Boca Bowl. All you have to do is order an ice-cold Coors Light and scan the QR code at any of the following locations: Pooley's, Tanner's, Draft House, and Paoli Pub. Coors Light. Enjoy responsibly.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Less than half an hour away from kickoff. The 5-2 Green Bay Packers, the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars down in Florida. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga hanging out with you, leading you up to kickoff here in week number 8 of the NFL season. It's a weird one, man. Like, it's a game you absolutely feel like the Packers should win, no problem. Now, as John pointed out last segment, the Sharps are betting on Jacksonville to cover that line, and that line continues to move down to 3.5-point favorites are the Green Bay Packers. And frankly, how I feel about that? Good. Doubt us. See what happens against a bad team. The Packers have proven to us, I think, especially after last week, and I'm curious if you fellas agree with this. And obviously, the NFL is a week-to-week business. They say any given Sunday for a reason. But with the signature win on the season last week over Houston, I think the Packers have proven to us, at least for now, that they are serious contenders, both in the NFC and in the NFL overall. Any disagreements?
What serious contender? How deep?
Yeah. I think they're they're a top 5 team in the NFL.
I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. Okay,
Brian?
Listen, I think what we all expected and or at least we thought about this team coming into the season is that they're definitely one of the better teams in the NFL. Now, what qualifies as one of the better teams in the NFL? It's a playoff team, right? The best teams go to the playoffs. Yep. And I think and I still believe that they are a playoff team, but where do they rank from that 1 to 7 in the NFC or then out of the 14? I'm not totally sure. I think it's still a little early right now, but they certainly have the talent and they have the ability to be a true contender, right? Like, not every team that makes it to the playoffs is a true contender either, right? Like, that's also a fact. Just because you're one of the best teams and getting into the playoffs doesn't mean you're a true contender. But I think they have what it takes to be a true contender. Now, it's just a matter of, games like this, going in and taking care of business, not leaving any doubt. That's what true contenders do. They go into these games that, are so-and-so trap games, or they could be a little bit of an issue, especially with Detroit on the docket next week, and you struggle. And the teams that are really good go in and take care of business. Like, this is another week. It's another team. Let's go play. We got to treat them just like we did the Texans and just like we will the Lions. Go in, take care of business, and move on. And I think that's when people will start to truly believe. Because, the Rams game, not good enough. Then they go play the Cardinals, look great, beat a good Texans team. Now what do they do here, right? It's they continue to win, but, there's a certain style of play that needs to be very, repeatable that we haven't seen yet. We'll just put it that way.
No, I think that's a good point by you, John. I jokingly all the time call you a pessimist. I don't think you're a pessimist. I think you guard your heart and you are very well thought out before you're jumping to conclusions like the one I just did, right? That I view the Packers as true contenders. So entering this game, how good can this team be in your eyes, right? Like they have the makeup of a good team. I know you believe in the head coach. I don't know if you're ready to say you fully believe in the D coordinator, but certainly he's given you good reasons to believe in him.
So I try to be reasonable. That's all. I'm just trying to be reasonable. I've been around. Listen, I haven't lived there in a while, but I get home enough to see how people go Packer crazy, and every team that's truly in it overinflates what they think their squad will be. Mm-hmm. Or if you're the flip side, like Missouri, I maybe undersquad how terrible we are when it comes like that. But the Jacksonville game here to me is crucial in that it can't become the Raiders game from last year. It can't be the Broncos game from last year. This is another sign of the step, another sign of maturity, another sign of growth, and where is this team? Okay? If you can beat all these lousy teams out of the AFC South, Texans being the good one, but the other, the Titans and the Colts, like if you can take care of them, then you have given yourself this base. Now I take from a team that last year was like, okay, I think they could be good. Now you go, okay, yeah, you're good, and that's your base. That becomes your floor, right? I want what last year was to be their floor. And so winning the Texans helps in that regard. Beating this team so they don't do this repeat of the Broncos or the Raiders, then that raises that floor. And with that, then the ceiling becomes, can they be one of the top teams in the NFC? Yeah, I think they totally can. Can they be the top team in the whole NFL? I don't know. The Chiefs still look pretty good, but I tell you that nobody's ever won 3 in a row, and so I think the Chiefs are going to get beat somewhere in the playoffs just because until somebody does it, I'm going to pick against them. It's the Sergio Garcia in a major kind of and because great, he won 1, but now I'm 1 and I'm 59-1 and picking against him. So I think that's the big deal. Like, yes, they can be great, but what I want them to see is raise that base level. I think we all agree. Yeah, the top's way up there. What's last year's ceiling? Let's make that our floor, and that's kind of where I am. So I don't know that that's pessimist. I just feel like that's reasonable, and let's keep seeing growth as where we are overall as a team. And I bet if you went and talked to some people, 1265, that's how they'd look at it too. Is that we don't want to get way out there. And listen, when I said don't get ahead of me, the Lions, and thank you again for correcting me on the proper date on that. But then you read out the entire schedule, so you're like so far ahead. You were down there for the next 6 games.
John, the good news is I'm not in 1265. I'm in 301 West Wisconsin, buddy. You're right. Like I'm
in the group of offices.
I'm a rabid Packers fan. I'm not in the building, right? I'm not looking at any given Sunday. I'm going, damn, this is a Super Bowl team right here.
I am too, but that's, I guess my job for 35 years also is very much to make sure that we are just presenting things as we see them and not as we desire them to be.
You're much more of a professional than I ever intend to be, is what we're getting.
What I desire them to be and what I think they are right now are not quite, they have not yet aligned.
Let's get to our Gruber Law Office's one call, each of us making one prediction for the upcoming game between the Packers and the Jaguars. Gruber Law Offices has a reputation for winning. Their experienced and powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until your case is won. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. 3 turnovers for the defense. I think this defense is going to continue to show up and show out.
Shocking.
Because I'm such a fan? Why shocking?
No, that's just a lot. And then that put them at like 20 for the year, and they had like 18 all last year. So that's just a lot. 3 is a lot. But the Jags have helped the other.
They sure have.
Other teams this year.
And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they beat they beat the Patriots in London last week. But there's this weird thing going on in the NFL this year where if you beat the Patriots, you typically go on to lose the following week. And lose big, right? It's happened to, I think, 4 of the 5 teams that have beat the Patriots this year have gone on to lose their next game, the 49ers included in that. So I think the Jags probably fall into that. I will say the 3 turnovers forced by the Packers defense today, that is my one call. Bulaga, you're up next.
Yeah, I mean that's a good prediction. I mean, I'm going to go with Jordan Love, I think he throws his 2 touchdowns, but I think he has a clean game, no picks. I think he starts trending in the proper direction. I think he has a no interception game. I think he throws for a lot of yards too. I think he's going to have that 25 to 30 attempts, and I think he's going to play a clean game. And that's where I'm going with it. I think he starts his little confidence and momentum boost with taking care of the football this week and carries that into the Detroit game.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is last year I think we came kind of used to him not throwing interceptions. Like the second half of the year, I think there was only 1 or 2 games where he threw one. He has thrown an interception in each of the 5 games he's played this year, including 2 last week to the Houston Texans. So that would be the first time this season Jordan Love would play turnover-free football here on the young season through 5 games. John, on to you.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to go that. I didn't know if that was a wish for Jordan Love to not have a clean game or to have a clean game. I guess if this has to be personnel driven, I would go with how about I'm really confident in the over on Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
63. I like some of the other things. I like some of the other trends that are going on. Like I think the Packers score first again, which would make it 10 straight on the road. I think that they've been under on their last 3 wins. The 3 wins in a row, they've all come in on the under, and I think that's probably going to hold, which isn't sexy. So I think I'm going to cast my lot with Jacobs and hope that they pound him, even if it's at the expense of my manifestation for a Christian Watson touchdown. By the way, the fact that Jacobs is getting more touchdown catches than Watson, that irritates me. Because that's not how it should be.
It's similarly to the stat of Keyshawn Nixon getting more sacks than Rashawn Gary, right? I mean, those are kind of in the same wheelhouse there. So that's fair. I feel like Jason Wilde, who was with us in the 10 o'clock hour, pointing out that Jacobs is 4th in the league for rushing yards and 4th in rushing attempts. So he is getting the ball, although he hasn't had what feels like a giant game yet. And maybe today is the makings of that one for Josh Jacobs.
Well, Colts aside, right? Yeah, he did that.
That's
like saying the Packers are 5-1 if you throw out their preseason game against the Eagles, which is what that amounted to.
You're right. Yeah, no lie there. Yeah, I guess I'm only counting the games Jordan Love played, I guess, is what's going on in my head, which means the record would be much worse than it is. 3-2, I believe, under Love, than they're 5-2 overall here on the season. As we enter Week 8, Packers, Jaguars coming up in just about 15 minutes. We will wrap up the show coming up next, give our final thoughts and our predictions for how this one plays out. I'm guessing we're all going to say they're going to win. That's a spoiler alert. We'll find out if that's true coming up next as we wrap up Green Bay Game Day right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Career politician Tammy Baldwin wasted trillions of dollars and created crushing inflation. Baldwin opened our borders and gave taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. And she voted to put men in girls' sports. Enough is enough. Businessman Eric Hovde will stop inflation, secure the border, and defend our Wisconsin values. Here's Eric Hovde.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys in girls' sports and in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Your warehouse concrete floors see a lot of traffic. Uneven, sinking, or cracked concrete can pose a serious threat to any business operation. From trip hazards to cracked foundations, sinking concrete can keep any business owner up at night. Concrete Lifting Technologies is here to help. Concrete Lifting Technologies can even out that concrete floor to prevent these hazards. They can level your warehouse floor within a few hours and don't even need to shut down your operations. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today. That's itaintmudjack.com.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
Well, we had the home we're the home team. UCLA coach said, that's our locker room. Is it okay if we just stay there and you take the visitors' locker? I said, hell no. We're the home team. You get your stuff out of here. I love it. We'll just keep this locker room. That's
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, cause Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Black Friday is Cash Friday
At Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
on Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m.
18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion.
And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize.
Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day.
And we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth
$25 in rewards play.
Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
A Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Couple minutes left as we wrap up Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Bryan Bulaga hanging up with you for just a few more minutes as we lead you to kickoff. Packers and Jaguars. Packers are 3.5-point favorites, 5-2 on the year. Jags 2-5 on the year here at noon kickoff. And we're leading you up to kickoff here on ESPN Wisconsin. You will hear Falcons and Buccaneers, an NFC South showdown ahead of Green Bay game night with Homer Tausch, Gary Ellerson, Jason Wilde, and more immediately after the final whistle. All right. If this is the team we think they are, they should take care of business, something we've said a lot today as the Packers head to take on the 2-5 Jags. Brian, you've been a member of many teams that were much better than opponents you faced. Typically, you took care of business. We talked about the idea of a trap game, but I imagine with how young this team is, they haven't accomplished much. They haven't won Super Bowls. They haven't won NFC championships. This is a team that's still happy to be in the NFL and just be a part of this. I imagine they're going to be working their tails off today in Jacksonville. How do you see this one playing out? Oh, now we lost Brian. No shortage of audio difficulties today.
You got me?
Oh, we got you now.
We good? Okay. I was going to say, I think they're going to get it done. I think probably the first 8 minutes may start off a little cagey and a little feel-out period. But I think they get it going by the end of the first and into the second, and they step on the gas. So I like Green Bay 35-10.
Nice.
I like Green Bay 35-10 and a big win.
It will look similarly to that Arizona game from a couple weeks ago, which I think we all viewed as their first complete game of complimentary football, 60 minutes. They won that one 34-13. So Bulaga's prediction not far off from that one. John, how about you?
Well, I don't know that that's the score I'm going to give, but I hope that's the score that it is. Like, I really want Bulaga's score to be right, more than I want my score to be right by a lot. Listen, Trevor Lawrence, I think first off, I was unaware of the Patriots curse that has happened to these teams, the post-Patriot letdown that people have. Which, by the way, I'm saddled here with having to watch the Jets and Patriots. You want to talk about just a lousy afternoon is to watch those clowns. Anyway, so Trevor Lawrence has played pretty well the last 3 weeks. So, he can throw it depending on what they can do. So it may be conservative. So he worries me a little bit. I kind of think everything's a one possession game, even here. I just want them to win. I want them to get out of this one alive even more maybe than I do the Texans. So I think they win. I think Lawrence is a guy that might give them some headaches. But I think it's 27-20. But I think it's a comfortable 27-20. I think it's a late touchdown garbage kind of thing, if that makes sense, that it's 20. The score will be closer than the game indicated or whatever that cliche is.
Yeah.
So I go 27-20, late little score maybe by the Jacksonville team, but I'm really hoping 35-10 is the score. That's what I'm really hoping it will be.
I'm in the Bulaga camp. 31-14 is the score I wrote down on our graphic on ESPN Wisconsin. I think this is you don't get a lot of these in the NFL season. I think this is another stress-free watch, but we will see as that game kicks off in about 5 minutes. A big thanks to Chris Larson for running the show today, making us sound good, our executive producer on the Green Bay Game Day show across ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ. Thanks to Rob Domofsky and Jason Wilde, who stopped by, and a big thanks to the Packers legend, Bryan Bulaga, the ESPN legend and Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, John Anderson. I'm Alex Strouf saying so long. Enjoy the game, and make sure you tune in to Green Bay Game Night immediately following the final whistle. This has been Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Just who is Peter Barca? Barca is a career politician we simply can't trust. We can't trust him to protect law enforcement because Barca raised money for an anti-police group that called our officers occupying soldiers. Can't trust Barca on the border either. He voted to support sanctuary cities putting violent criminals before our families. And while fentanyl floods our streets, Barca chose radical politics over our safety. Our veterans can't trust Peter Barca. He voted to cut the benefits they earned and deserve, endangering our families and communities, dishonoring our veterans. We just can't trust a career politician like Peter Barca.
I'm Brian Stile. I'm working to support families, stand with law enforcement, and honor our veterans. Families are struggling to afford the things that they need. That's why I'm working to lower costs and stop wasteful spending. I'm Brian Stile, and I approve this message because together we will get our country back on track.
Paid for by Style for Wisconsin.
If you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Boaty Wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in an eco-friendly box, fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk. And there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boda box is the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics, where there's quality in every sip. Boda Box. Be open to anything. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Boda Box Vineyards, Manteca, California.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
Winter athletes, how are you getting prepared for the upcoming season? Total Athlete Performance is here to take your game to the next level. TAP will get you prepared with individualized speed and strength training sessions available in both the Verona and DeForest locations, as well as remote options. Since 2017, TAP has been providing elite performance training in the Madison area to help every athlete become the best version of themselves. Sign up for your free assessment at tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to win the NBA championship, and Dame Lillard's going to be the MVP of the NBA.
Whoa!
Go on.
So I think they're going to have the year this year that everyone thought they were going to have last year.
Okay.
I think they're going to be really good this year, and I think Dame could be sneaky MVP candidate. I know most people think he's done. I don't.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
It's all on the College Game Day podcast. Hope you'll listen.
Monday, Carlin versus Joe. Sunday night, loser leave town match. Not Savage against the Ultimate Warrior. No, it's Cowboys 49ers.
And it's a big revenge spot as the Chiefs look to get back at the Raiders for what happened last Christmas.
Monday, Carlin versus Joe. Noon Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. It's week 8 in the NFL. 8 games about to kick off, including the Falcons and Buccaneers, which is available right now on select ESPN radio stations. The Eagles and Bengals in Cincinnati also about to kick. Bengals wideout T. Higgins out today with a quad injury. He was limited in practice on Friday. The Cowboys and 49ers play tonight in Santa Clara. ESPN's Lindsay Theory with more on that one.
The 49ers season is teetering as they prepare tonight to face the longtime rival Cowboys. To make the Niners